That one. There we go. Ye gods. Evening. Professional. Absolutely professional. It's, you guys are spoilt to have me. You really are. It has to be said. Goodness me. How is everybody doing? How are you all? Ah, good evening, Evie. How are the devil are you all? Right, have you done all the things? Right, that's gone there. I'll make sure everything's worked and done its stuff. Just post, I don't care. There's that. Evening machine, spaceships indeed. I'm still undecided what I'm painting actually. I'll be honest, I am undecided what I'm painting. I'm going to probably start with these, but I don't know how it's going to end up. I do not know. It's all too exciting. How the devil are you all? What is new with you? I wrote a nice post on... Yeah, I wrote a nice post on Facebook, if such a thing exists. And of course, as soon as I post it, it then screws up. So, just going to tap something out. Because I can't have nice things. Right. I hate Facebook. If it wasn't so... There's a percentage of my traffic comes from Facebook, which is really annoying. Because otherwise I could sack the whole thing off. Be done with it. But here we are. Enough whinging and complaining. You just passed 28,000 word mark on your story. I think that's called getting on for a novel. It's beyond short story at that point. Dear Evie. Hey Multiverse, how are you? It's a high gravity Monday for sure. I don't know, I haven't decided. I was like trying to figure out what I wanted to paint, and I need to paint some... I want to paint some Eldfall. I have so much Eldfall to paint at the moment. I have so much Drop Zone to paint at the moment. I have Project Archangel, which is something that I want to start for Infinity. And so I was thinking about building that on stream with you guys. And I was hoping that something that I'm waiting on to come in would have been in by now, but it wasn't. So that was disappointing. I know that's very coy, wasn't it? But there's a lot of things that I want to work on, and there's a lot of things that I need to work on. And some of the things that I need to work on aren't here yet, and that's really annoying. So, there's that. My life is just hard, guys. I don't know how I cope, to be honest with you. I'm an inspiration to you all. Of course, Mrs. Hydra helps. That's exactly how I cope. Sorry, she just gesticulated to me that I should indicate that she's the way that I cope and that I manage. So that's nice. She's a modest woman, which probably is why she can hang around with me and survive. But yes, Project Archangel is cool, and it's something that I decided to do. As many of you have heard, I sold a whole bunch of Infinity recently, and some tables, all kinds of stuff. Just stripping down, trying to get back to the core essentials. So the obvious thing when you get rid of 3 armies is that you buy a new one, because that's clearly the way to do it. So I did that, and it was cool. So yeah, a whole new army based on... I've not played that one before. Oop, okay. I've not played that particular faction before, or that particular army before, and therefore I kind of want to try it out. But yeah, we shall see. We shall see. So I have been working on a little bit of drop fleet since last we met. I took the ones that I was working on and pushed them a little bit further. It's not quite there yet, but it's a little bit more greeny yellow on top. Need to sharpen these. I wanted to see how it looked, so it was a really rough blend on the top there, but I wanted to see how it looked. I just turned it up a little bit more, and this is a little bit more white than it was, but I think that could even go whiter than it is. Just kind of really want to like turn it up. As you see here, this is more kind of white. So I think I'm liking that. And then when you have to do something with the engines, and I think these are going to go orange, so they kind of they're going to have silver over them, but then there's kind of this underlayer of orange like here. That's the current theory. But I also have a lot of these particular guys to paint. So if you don't know Drop Fleet, there's a little ship called a Medea, which this is a Medea, and they are an unmitigated pain in the backside. So I have 8 of them. There's 6 of them sat here. I have another 2 somewhere around the place, which is cool. And then we also started to try out something a little bit bigger and see how the scheme looked on there. I turned the yellow up on here as well, just to see how it would look. But I think it's starting to look nice, if we only look at this side. Again, this needs to go up lighter. I think it's starting to look cool and pretty badass. I'm not looking forward to painting. So these are all little gun turrets. These are light broadside gun turrets. And let's just get in there. Let's get right in there. And I need to put a little red dot on all the end of all of these. On both sides. So that's exciting. We should look forward to that. Way. I love my hobby. It's magical. But hang on, shall I move this a little? I feel like I need to move this a little bit further that way so that I can. Yeah, it's better. That's nice. But yeah, I think it's looking a little bit better when it's a slightly stronger green than when it's a slightly yellower green. I think that works. That improves things. What do you guys think? Do you agree? That's actually sound right. Those don't look like L4. They do not, Kazakus Maximus. You little worry munchkin. They do not. So I haven't heard of this or missed you talking about it. No. You haven't. I haven't really spoken about it at all. I was kind of keeping it on the back burner because I've got a number of other projects to kick around. So I've got my shock army that needs finishing. To any great degree. To any extent at all would be great. And that's kind of... I'm doing that when I'm rested because I'm trying to really push that. I'm trying to really push that hard. Sorry, my wet palette decided to have a fit at some point in the last day or so. And all the colours have smudged together, so I might even have to redo it. It's just rubbish. Anyway, so I'm not doing that unless I'm really kind of rested, because otherwise it sort of feels like it's going to go a bit wrong, and I kind of want it to be kind of perfect. Well, as perfect as you can make it. I want to do my best work on that. So I can't do that when I'm tired, which is all the time at the moment. And so I wanted something else. And then Archangel came into it, and it was just, yeah, like I say, it was opportunity to push myself and try something different. And the particular faction that I've chosen is arguably not in the best place at the moment. So I kind of want to do that and see what we can make of it. So it's something, I get the impression there will be a whole series on Patreon and stuff like that about it at some point, focusing on the construction. But I kind of, again, as ever with my theories, I'm like, okay, well, I'll start small with this and I'll build it out. But I think I'm over 1,000 points now, so that sort of didn't work. I have complete control over my hobby spending. It's the only way to be sure. Nico! Thank you for the comedy. Thank you very much. Lovely, lovely. Good to see you. Yes, the Eldfall. I didn't want to stick a spaceship up tonight, and I was actually contemplating. Shall I paint some Eldfall? Is that what I should do? Because my Eldfall does need painting. And I need to reset this. Wet palette anyway, because it's apparently having a sort of medium-sized midlife crisis. Maybe we should paint that. Or we should get some paint on my Great Guard, because I do know that Machine loves my Great Guard so much. Spaceships and Fantasy, have not seen... Yes, thank you. I think the yellow looks great. And still reads as green. Yeah, I think so, thank you. It's come out well. Kaz, just trying something new. I tend to give... When I put things together in my head, they tend to get a name. They tend to get a little nickname. And it's... Because lore is quite important to me, they then start getting lore developed around the name that they're given. So, Archangel, yeah, it's indicative of who they are. So, So that's why my Tunguska, for example, were Helios was their project name, and they became the Helios Enforcer Corps, which was a new branch of Tunguska that was just starting out, which is why they had Scrap Heap Sally with them and stuff like that. So it tells you something of the nature of the project that lies ahead. 1,000 points. Did you collect something? Yes, I did. In your name, my friend. In your name. Machine, you know you want me to paint her. She did. You loved playing with her. You love playing with her. The Great God did a good job. Again with Gherkins. Larkbeard, it's always a pleasure. I always have such a positive experience about my hobby when you're in the room. It's really lovely to see you. I've got my Elful minis now too, actually. Even more stuff. When did you get Elful? Oh no, I knew you got that. That's true. I knew that. That's true. Although I wasn't intimidated enough already. Yeah, Elful is a little bit... Yeah. Infinity is scary, and then you look at Eldfall and it's like, Because the thing about Eldfall is you're painting a small number, so you kind of want to... I find I really want to nail it. Like, to an extent, these guys are going to look nice. I'm determined to make these look pretty and make these look a little bit, as I've said before, quite malevolent and quite nasty. That's the look that we're going for. But ultimately, they're going to be in a fleet. Unless it goes really badly wrong, in which case their colour scheme is the least of my concerns. There's going to be quite a few of them on the board. So it doesn't matter so much what you do with them. But if you've only got sort of 3 miniatures on the board, you're like, well, I need them to look awesome because, you know, I've only got 3 of them on the board. They should look brilliant. So, yeah, I get you. I completely hear you, Evie. Wait, was sidetracked. Surface Tunguska. No, not Surface Tunguska. There is no such thing as Surface Tunguska Larkbeard. Not well. Don't give Corvus Belly ideas. There will be by next week if we keep saying stuff like that. Thank you for resubscribing with Prime, Larkbeard. That's very kind of you. 7 months. My goodness. I have Prime models in my pile of shame older than this streak. You and me both, buddy. Mal Winters, the man, the legend. Hello, bud. Good to see you. Speaking of Eldfall, Dungeon Crawl playthrough went... I was talking about that the other day, actually. I was really talking about that the other day. For reasons. For stuff and things. My goodness, there's some cool stuff coming up. Anywho, yeah. Actually, because Machine, you own the hero from Eldfall Chronicles now, don't you? From Northern Wind. For your sneaky elf gits, if I remember correctly, you got hold of one. Because Machine would actually be joining in on that. He'd be one of the players that would be on that particular playthrough. So the idea is to do a full Northern Wind playthrough on a Sunday evening, like twice a month. That would be the idea. And despite what Kaz thinks, use some of the personality that apparently I don't have to create a nice sort of narrative experience for everybody that you can all watch along and enjoy. That would be the idea. I'm going to have to string some Buccaneers into sitting in a voice call with me as I paint, because otherwise my nerves will kill me. Yeah, well, I'm thinking about doing that actually with the members of Dice Gods, actually, Evie. That's potentially... because Dorina was talking about it a little while back, about doing like sort of chat through evenings and just hanging out and chatting and stuff. And... yeah, so I'm contemplating that. So yeah, it may even be bigger than the Bucks, my friend. On the surface, Tunguska, I do plan on going for the factory tour. Oh dear, don't do it. Last time I did that, I came away with a invincible army. Literally an invincible army. It was... ultimate mistakes were made. Very much so. I regret nothing. I got stuff from Mrs. Hydra as well, so it wasn't just about me. Mostly about me, but it wasn't just about me. So, Inception lives, indeed. You'd love digital paint sessions. Well, Evie, we shall sort it out there, little Queen in the North. Okay, I do the same thing, every colour scheme has a law. Exactly, Kaz, that's how it should be. So proud of me. Stop it, you're making me blush. Can't wait to order Assassins. I sent you a link the other day, or I sent you that screen cap the other day from Facebook. Did you check that out? Because there was some serious stuff on there, I think, and I think some of that was Assassins. It'd be nice to see you with lower BS, although still probably full of lots of BS knowing you. But yeah. Howdy, Captain Castle. Good evening, hello. Yeah, you should paint that pretty new banner lady that I didn't win. Multiverse, I am so sorry. I am so sorry. If it helps, the person that it went to, Yoppen, was incredibly excited and happy and is starting the game now because of it. So, you know, I think that's kind of cool. I actually don't own a copy of that particular set yet. I've given both of mine away post-review. Yeah. Oh, this as well. Okay, let's gamify this watching experience. Let's not gamifying everything. I'm trying to figure out a way. So what I wanted to do was to do a painting competition on Discord for members to win that limited edition Infinity miniature. I thought that would be kind of funky. But I can't figure out a way to do it that I'm happy with. So, or that the pressure won't get to me too greatly, let's put it that way. Because, you know, it's a nice mini. It's very nice. Maybe I should just give it to Machine, because he wants to play Assassins, and it's definitely proxy worthy. No. I mean, isn't it a thing that English people don't have personality? Kazakis Maximus. Whoa, you got your big boy pants on today. Oh, look at you. It's not what I think, it's just cultural facts. Really? That's delightful. Thank you so much for your insights on the subject. There's that stereotype of the ignorant American coming through again. Oof, yes, I went there. You know, I've met many Americans. They don't fulfill that particular stereotype. But here we are. You know, I guess it comes from somewhere. Never thought it would be my Kaz, but what a day. What a day. Yes, I did. It was not a lot of Assassins, and I will branch out with 2 vanilla, but first the sector. Yeah, fair play. Actually what? But yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to give that one away, and I kind of want to do something nice with it, and I want to do it for the members and Patreons because that just seems nicer. Not nicer. That's the right way to do it. I just want to give some love that way because you guys give a lot of love this way, a lot of earache as well, a lot of heartbreak, a lot of abuse. That happens too. But there's some nice stuff in there as well, occasionally once a week or so. So you know, kind of want to give something back that isn't abuse and earache. Although it's tempting. Probably going to convert a knight into an Asawira era monster. As a Frenchman who's also American, I think I'm culturally, morally and genetically obligated to make fun of you. Bring it forth. That's all I'm going to say on that front. Yo, indeed, Nuclear Kid. Good to see you, my friend. How are you? Long time no see. Are you well? What's new with you? It's also worth saying as well, and I'm going to have to say this a few times during the course of the stream, I'm not going to be around next week. We are on vacation. We are on holiday, and it's going to be glorious. I should be hanging out with my minis and Mrs. Hydra. So that's nice. We're going to have a nice time and a bit of peace and quiet for a while. So that is going to be good. Look forward to that. Which means that tomorrow I've got an awful lot of videos to record for you guys because I'm not going to be around the rest of the week and it's just not falling well from my perspective for, yeah, getting stuff done. But thankfully I have some in the tube that are ready to go, so they'll be coming your way and I think they're quite interesting. Although one of them is going to be me having a mini lecture at the world. Needed to happen. I think a sort of Infinity related one with mini rant in it is going to happen. Definitely. because, yeah, I have thoughts. And then we're also going to talk about this. This turned up today. So if you are a bolt action fan, this is the new sprue for the Gurkhas, which is looking very, very cool. So I'm going to try and do something with that. Just talk about this, because they are very cool. They are very funky. Shout out to Wall for sending this to us, because I love this camera. Sometimes it's just brilliant. Like all the toys on this. And I was saying to Mrs. Hydra, I've got a German bolt action army that I want to finish off painting, which is nowhere near finished off painting. But I want to finish off painting before I start anything else. But I really, really want like a Gurkha army. I want a Commonwealth army with these guys front and center to it. It's not ideal that this turned up, I'll be honest. It's not perfect. But hey, you know, I have a tough life. So what can I say? There's so much stuff on here. As well, this is something that Warlord is really nailing, is the amount of stuff that they're getting on a sprue. But we're going to look at that properly later. That's a video of its own. I'm just going to not drool over it, because the more I drool over it, the more tempted I am, and that's just a bad thing. So, how do we like the new mic and the new video quality as well, guys? Because it's been a couple of weeks now. And from my perspective, it's a lot easier to use, and I like it a lot more. But how's it from your side of the screen? Is it working well? Makes my painting look worse, I'll tell you that much. But that's a good sign. I've been digging away preparing entries for the Fed model show at the weekend. Nice. A mini vacation, if you will. Thank you, Kaz. Oh dear. Neat. Most things are. Especially around here. My wife would not be happy with me if I bought minis on vacation, unless it is a painting con. Fair one. Multiverse. Happy Monday, Jean Dean. Hello, hello. Things seem to be working just fine in the centre for me. Good. That sprue looks a lot like an Hydra produced sprue. I have no idea. I think they make it. I don't know actually whether they make it themselves. I don't know what the deal is. I've not looked into it far enough. I really should. But to be honest with you, it just. There's a depth of interest that I have with the hobby, and there comes a point where I'm like, I don't want to go further than that. Like, the only reason that I learnt the name Seocast is because it's rubbish. It's a lot easier if you're able to go, yeah, it's Seocast, don't touch that with a stick. So yeah, most of the time I don't bother, because that's not the area of the hobby that interests me. So. I should sort of give the mic to Kaz a bit more, because apparently he's going to be a star of Stage Screen and Dockyard Canteen pretty soon on Tinterweb. He's going to be a fellow YouTube star. Do I have to sort of like share my revenue with you then, buddy? Is that how that works? If you're getting famous and, you know, appearing on channels and stuff? That's probably the case. My house is an official old world location right now. 3 of us building, painting battle march armies. Awesome. Well, as long as you're doing it with people, that's, you know, that's all nice and fun, isn't it? It's all social, which is clearly a good thing. There's a little bit just there that I'm not quite happy with. It's not quite the colour I want it to be. This actually comes around the butt leg. It comes around just these models. And two minds whether I should have painted it, whether I should have built it in sub-assemblies and then painted it or what. But I'm happy with how this is turning out, I think. So I won't complain too much. And I do not have the ability to sub-assembly stuff, if I'm honest with myself. I'm not patient enough. That green is looking alright, isn't it? It's looking alright. Almost smooth enough. Because we're going to put the camo down the side of it as well. So it's going to end up with the tiger shark camo. So, excuse me. Goodness. Yeah, we've got some cool stuff coming in this week that I can't talk about yet. But my goodness, there's going to be There's a new system dropping, and no cares, it's not Legion. This has kind of really screwed up Legion a little bit. Pushed it back a little bit, because I was in conversation with somebody, with a company, and they kind of said, oh, would you like? And I was like, actually, yes, I freaking would. And then they sent me the thing, and it's going to be here tomorrow, I think. And if it is here tomorrow, then something from that will come on holiday with me. But Legion's definitely coming. I've got this big box of Legion in the cupboard, and every time I open it, it looks at me with these little puppy dog eyes. I'm just like, yeah, I know, it's coming. New system, not Hexadome Legends. No, I passed on Hexadome Legends. Darkbeard, I passed on that one. I've gone so much further than I ever intended with Sprue Knowledge. Gene Dean. I hats off to people that do. Excuse me. Hats off to people that do, but I just, no. It's just no. Don't know why, just no. I find myself tempted by a Battle March Cathay Army. I've heard good things. I don't need it anyway. We don't need any of this in any way. Wargaming is not about need. It's what a lot of wargaming companies get wrong. They forget that their product is not needed. It is wanted and desired. And if it is wanted and desired, it should be both a needful thing and a desirable thing. And they forget that sometimes. And it's very sad and very frustrating. Make me love your stuff and I will buy it forever. And then they forget to do that. And you're like, come on. How hard can this be? Turns out, very. Medium-sized rant just there. But I recorded a video last Thursday? Last Wednesday? No. Last Tuesday even. Last Tuesday. Sat down and recorded a video not for the Dice Gods, but wargaming related, that is going to be out in a few weeks. And hopefully it looks like it's going to be the start of something very, very cool for me and the channel. It's very exciting, and I can't talk about it yet. It's very disappointing because I want to. Like, this is so cool. Oh no, I can't say that. But no, can't say that either. So yeah, that's so hype. So yeah, there's a lot of things going on at the moment, and the new box that comes in this week is the start of something really, really cool. And yeah, build up from there. It's very exciting. I have a face, voice, and personality for radio. Oh, sausage. Like I said to you, I'd watch the heck. When you type eloquently and beautifully in really interesting ways, and we disagree about stuff, but I like the way we disagree about stuff. I want to hear what you have to say about stuff. I always find your input valuable, my friend. And that's what the internet needs more of. Valuable discussion, not just Muppets with microphones. Do I include myself in that category? Well, maybe. I'm very feisty this week. I'm very feisty indeed. I did that thing about nostalgia the other day, which, that was one of the things that kind of like, yeah, I valued your opinion on that, Cass. It wasn't entirely in line with my own, but that is useful. But I took a pop at a group in that. I took a shot at an organisation in that, which somebody messaged me and went, "You were talking about this, weren't you?" Yes, I was. So apparently I'm very feisty this week. A couple of people have got caught in the crossfire already. There's more to go around. We have plenty more if needs be. But the idea of spaceships with camo paint on is very pleasing to me. Yes, modelled after the Lancaster Bomber nuclear kit. A mix of the Lancaster Bomber and a Tiger Shark. Those are the two inspos. So when you view it from space, and then when you view it from the ground, you get the grey. That's the idea behind this. So yeah, I like it. I'm kind of happy with it. I'm kind of happy how it's turning out as well so far. I mean, a long way to go, but makes me wildly happy. It's something you don't see very often, so I'm liking that it's a little bit different, a little bit unique, I mean, not fully unique, because what is these days, but you know what I mean. Before I launch into a pump up the volume-esque rant. 10 points if you get that reference. Happy Harry Hardon? I think that was the phrase. I think that was his name. There goes the monetization. Totally worth it for getting a Christian Slater from the early 90s reference into a live stream. For all of you kids who are like, who's Christian Slater? I hate you and you're too young. Isn't it your bedtime? Raid Shadow Legends, the war game. Lapid, you're a monster. You are an absolute monster. What is wrong with you? Ye gods. And you know there'd be a whole group of people out there like, oh, finally, I've been waiting for the... Oh, ugh. I really want a Raid Shadow Legends. I want to be offered a Raid Shadow Legends sponsorship so I can be like, no, I don't want it. I feel like that would be a good thing. For me, emotionally, morally, spiritually. How are we doing with that focus there? Focus on that. So yeah. I was very tempted to build my clones this past weekend, customize them up and figure out a list. Then thought, what if I said to Dodge, shush! Stop it! I have to ask, do you start with an airbrush on your PHR? The blending is so good on that. Great, well thank you. No, this is all brushwork. They start from black, as you see. They start from black and then they go up to this. It's just wet blended. But then I wet blend my Infinity. So I do a lot of wet blending. But yeah, thank you, man. Appreciate that. Glad you get you over it. I know. I'm reminded of the crazy World War I era dazzle camouflage used on... Yeah, exactly. That'd be pretty swag on spacecraft models. It would be. That was one of the earlier things that I was contemplating. Actually, I was like, oh, I wonder if I should use that. I wonder if that would work. And then I was like, actually, I want to go something a little bit more... That would work, I think, for UCM, because they're quite blocky, or even Resistance. Actually, that would be really nice on Resistance, because that kind of fits their... I don't know, my mental aesthetic for them is kind of old, dated gear that's just held together by strings and disappointment and hope. And... so therefore that kind of tied back to the 1910s, or the First World War, if you will, that would kind of work. That would be a cool, funky touch, I think. Nuclear Kid, to be honest with you. Samantha Mathers as love interest is the deep cut. Yeah, true. See how high you can negotiate the price just for the hell of it. Bump the Voice was such an 80s movie. It was, but it was just outside, wasn't it? And it just, yeah. But also, it was an indication of where things were going in the 90s, with that kind of individualism and that deep, deep rebellion and the cynicism as well that's associated with it. When you look at the cynicism that the lead character has in that for the world and for authority figures and the rejection of all of it, and ultimately where he goes with that, it's, yeah. It's cool. I love that movie. I love it so much. And I showed it to my wife. My wife is younger than me, so she was like, what? Damn it. Never mind. Darling, I don't get out of bed for less than half a mil and a gallon of Agrex Earthshade. Darling. No, absolutely. Only a gallon? You cheap. Resistance is the fleet I like the most looks-wise. Yeah, see, can you imagine, you know, that sort of... Yeah, the Dazzle camo, that would look epic on those. It really would. I should have taken the pictures of the stuff I worked on last night. I'd be interested in your thoughts on the repaint of 012 I'm working on for a friend. Yeah, love to see it. Whack it on the Discord, bud. The space equivalent of welding machine gun to Toyota. I think it's more... I think that's overselling Nuclear Kid. It's more masking taping, using masking tape to attach a machine gun to a Toyota. Yeah, I think that's kind of more accurate. But yeah, I'm still tempted by Resistance. I was talking to TT Combat actually, and I sort of said, if you happen to want, because there's a reason for it, but I was talking to them about maybe getting my hands on a copy of Dreadhawk, the one that comes with Resistance. And it was not something they wanted to do at the time, which is fair enough. They got other priorities. But yeah, I was like, if I could get that and I could get some resistance. No, you don't need resistance. We already have UCM and biophyces and PHR. And when I say PHR, I keep thinking about, this is always a bad sign, I keep thinking about putting my fleet out and taking a photo of it just now, just to see where it is, just to get that bit done, you know what I mean? And then I realise how long that's going to take me, and I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. No one can make me do it, and I'm not going to. So no. Which it's too much work because you've got so many miniatures to put out that's a bad sign, isn't it? That is a bad sign, surely. That is a sign that maybe we got a bit excessive here. Maybe, just a smidge. Just a tad around the edges. I don't know. Is there a good, simple lore world primer on Drop Fleet? Yeah. There's plenty out there, Larkbeard. There's lots of stuff. I think in the rulebook as well, there's a relatively simple one. But it boils down to a little bit in the future. Humanity got a warning. A little like orb turned up, and it basically said leave because you're going to get attacked. And a lot of people didn't leave, but a lot of sensible people decided to go with the orb and follow it where it was going. So they got on ships. They nicked ships, basically. Well, they didn't nick ships. They took their ships, but the rest of humanity weren't too chuffed about it. And they left. And maybe on the way out there was a bit of a fight. And maybe during that fight, the main fleet of humanity that was staying behind was left behind and crippled. That's just, maybe that's the thing that happened. And then a year later, the Scourge turned up, which were an alien race who took over Earth. And some would say, because that fleet had been, some would say that was related. I'm not going to say either way. I think that's propaganda, to be honest with you. A lot of humanity escaped. Some didn't. Then the Shell Towery turned up, who were little space hedgehogs, for the want of a better way of saying it. And they're having a bit of a punch up with the Scourge. Then the UCM, who are the humans that escaped for the attack, they came back and tried to retake Earth. The humans that remained on Earth, they became the Resistance. And then the good guys turned up, because the ones that left with the orb came back as the Post-Human Republic, the PHR. And they're the good guys. Now, some people still hold a grudge, because when they decided to leave, and there was the punch-up and the fleet and all the rest of it. Anyway, that's a very basic primer of the Drop Fleet universe. And it's really cool. There's a lot more to it than that, and it's very flavourful and it's very interesting. But that's a very, very basic overview, and I hope that helps. But you should definitely read more, because it's kind of funky. And they've got quite a lot out there, actually. It's quite interestingly done, I have to say. But anything bad you hear about PHR is purely sort of propaganda. It's just propaganda. I wouldn't listen to it. Does that help? Is that useful? But yeah. So I do enjoy the fluff around this particular system, as well as the actual game itself, and I like the fact that aesthetically and technically all the factions are distinct and unique, especially because PHR are the best. I think that's a really nice touch, and clearly, obviously, the right choice. So yeah, it's very good. This is shaping up okay again. Starting to get there. This scheme. Are you tempted to put Meta AI logo? How rude! Meta AI logo on the side of PHR. My stuff works. It's not just disappointment and yeah. Anyway, just got to block out the haters with your core bionic PHR eye globes. No, absolutely. It's nice to see them. You know, they sort of complain and they moan. You're like, oh, look, I'm keeping them busy. Oh, that's so cute the way they complain. And then you just sort of obliterate them on the field. It's kind of, it's a whole thing. It's a whole life choice on our part. So, yeah. Painting spaceship butt. That's what you got to do on a Monday night. Paint some spaceship butt. I do love these ships. They are so pretty and so nicely designed. Such a fanboy for these, and the PHR stuff as well for Drop Zone Commander. I've already bought into that, and I'm being a grown up at the moment. I'm not touching it. I've bought it. It's in the corner. It's there. It's going to happen at some point. It's not just yet, you know. But yeah, I love it. I'm wondering. I'm almost at a point with these, with this particular one, where this is almost done enough. I kind of want to put the camo on it. Just finish it off. This side, anyway. I'm telling myself it's because I want to see and make sure that it works on a larger scale miniature. What it actually means is I wanted to paint a big spaceship. I wanted to paint a big one with big guns that goes boom. Although this doesn't actually have big guns, this has very small guns, and they go bird, but that's not the point. It's little baby guns. But I managed to go out and prime a whole load of my PHR the other day, so we have much to paint, which is freaking great. Yeah, you're very funny, Gene D. You could do the same thing for Infinity, or point me in the right direction to read some lore about Infinity. Wolf, oh wow, where to go with Infinity? The thing is, it's kind of so. Hang on, I'm going to put this down here for a little bit. So the thing is with Infinity is it's kind of branching and huge, and there's a lot that's gone on, and it's kind of where do you start with it? I guess you start. I think we're about 170 years in the future. Yeah, Warlord. I know Lotbeard, but he's asked for the same thing here, so I'm kind of watch the Warlord stuff, but that's hours of your life. Hang on a sec. What I need to just double check, because I think it's 175 years in the future, but I can't remember exactly what it is. I think it's 180 to 190 now. They moved it on, didn't they? That's why I had a little bit of a moment of, am I sure? So, about 180, 190 years in the future, the great thing about it all is everything's kind of fine. Humanity's, yeah, no, it's 180, 190, you're quite right, Larkbeard. Everything's kind of fine. It's like humanity's moved into the stars, we've set up our different colonies, and we've got a transport system, which I'm not going to go into. You can move around and blah, 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 blah. Now, when that started to happen, we moved via these like wormholes, and there was a ship, or a couple of ships that were sent out, and they went to colonize a place, and then the wormhole collapsed behind them, they got cut off. And they had to survive on their own for a very, very long period of time. That's Ariadne. They lived on this planet, and on this planet, there were dogs and all this kind of stuff, and you've got the Russians down there who became Tartary, and then you've got the Caledonians, you've got your Scottish, you've got the Merovingians, you've got the French, and then you've got US Ariadne, and you've got a whole bunch, like those type of things. And they're kind of your backwards, technologically unadvanced community, and they decided to move out into space, which is where we got Cosmoflot from, so you have that. But humanity is mostly run by mega corporations these days, and the bigger ones are the hyperpowers of Pan-Oceania, as well as the conglomerates of Yu Qing. And they're kind of the big bad guys, or the biggest companies and corporations inside of this. And, you know, they do a good job looking after humanity, for the most part, you could argue. And on top of that, we then have Hak-Islam. The Hak-Islam, they control the technology that allows people to be resurrected, because you can be resurrected inside of the Infinity Universe, and they control that kind of stuff. Now they're your technologically advanced humanitarian or humanist, sort of environment. Much as they are called Hak-Islam, they have kind of extended beyond the religious side of things, and they're more humanist and technical and medical and all that kind of stuff, which is kind of funky. If I was going to live anywhere inside of the Infinity Universe, I would want to live in Hak-Islam. I think they're the most forward-looking of all the communities. Then who else do we have? We have the Nomads. Nomads were formed basically from a group of prison ships for the most part. So essentially, they used to keep prisoners on ships above the planet Earth, and they over time, they built space elevators around them, and they used people that lived close to where the space elevators were going to be to build it, and made them homeless in the process, and pushed them up to live on the ships as well. And so you got non-prisoners living on these ships, and it all got very complicated. They sort of fractured into what you'd expect prison ships to fracture into, as sort of a den of crime and organised crime specifically. They do all that kind of good stuff. I'm going to get corrected massively, but I'm simplifying hugely to speed things along. The other, one prison ship, which is Corregidor, and then... Well, no, Tunguska was the prison ship, wasn't it? Well, Corregidor was as well. It's all. I think they're mostly prison ships, like bit, but I can't remember off the top of my head right now. But that gives you the kind of idea of what they specifically were. Who do we have from there? Let's just boot up. Now, also, the Nomads stand against Aleph. Now, Aleph is the AI that supports kindly and benevolently all of humanity. It's a very generous organisation. It runs everything effectively, and it supports humanity in all aspects of day-to-day operations and life, and kind of, it does everything, and it's lucky that it does, because it's kind to look after humanity that way. But the Nomads disagree, and they think that Aleph is a bit of a scumbag, and they're trying to get rid of it, which just, shows you how misguided some of them are. But then we have Aleph itself, which is, as I say, it's an organisation that's a system that runs humanity in all aspects, pretty much, and it's clearly the good guy of the setting. Such a benevolent system, so powerful, so trustworthy, clearly a very, very good system. Anyway, then you have, what are we going to do next? NA2, non-aligned armies. They are a bunch of mercenaries made up of different factions and different sub-factions and stuff like that, which is kind of cool. Then we have O12. O12 are the police of the human sphere. They are the police forces. They're of various flavours thereof. Not going to dive into the various flavours, but they are. And then we have the... very good, yes, indeed. That's right, Evie. Aleph is your friend. Then you have Toha and Combined Army, who are the alien races. Nomads do have catgirls, and they do run the banks, and they do have all of your private information, and they will use it to ensure that you make the correct decisions. Combined Army turned up. I love Combined Army because I love how stupid their story is. It's brilliant. So essentially, the hegemony of were trying to ascend. They're trying to transcend this plane of existence, essentially. So they created an AI, and this is paraphrasing before anyone corrects me. This is cutting it very short and cutting out a lot of the details. They created an AI to find out how to transcend. It did. Promptly discovered that they really weren't ready to transcend and left. It transcended itself and left the hegemony of behind, which is a bit awkward, to be honest with you, when your AI is like, you too dumb to transcend, I'm going without you. Bit orcs, to be honest with you, bit orcs. So they decided to make an EI, an evolved intelligence, rather than an artificial intelligence, which would be dumber, but set it the same task, basically. We want to transcend, make it happen. So it decided it couldn't figure it out itself, so what it would do is it would sort of trawl through the universe and ask every race what it knew, and then take all that information and smush it all together and then figure out the answer. So it formed the Combined Army of the various races as they conquered, and they went through. I mean, I say ask, I mean, here's a gun, it's in your face. Would you tell us everything you know, or die? And some people died, and some people didn't. Some people joined along with this crusade, like the Shazvasti and the Morats, who were just up for a fight anyway. But then they came across the Toha, and the Toha resisted very heavily. They're another alien species. And anyway, eventually the Combined Army broke through into the human sphere. A huge war kicked off, which was kind of run through narrative campaigns by Corvus Belli, and the results were kind of defined by the community, which basically meant that when these narrative events happened, Pano would kick the stuffing out of Yu-Ching would cut the stuffing out of Pano, Aleph would take advantage of everything, the Nomads would stand in the middle of everything giggling, and the combined army would win. So over a number of years, slowly, humanity was pushed back until eventually they were pushed all the way back to the very heart of humanity, at which point it sort of stuff happened, and the stuff that happened resulted in the combined army becoming friends with humanity and taking a position in the human sphere and governance thereof, which was nice and convenient. So otherwise humanity was about to get wiped out, in my opinion, because that's where all of the results were showing we did, basically. And that kind of almost brings us up to date. A planet was discovered by the JSA, by the Japanese Secessionist Army, called Shinju. And Shinju is where the current MacGuffin and stuff is happening. And essentially it's a planet filled with sort of very old alien advanced technology. So all the various factions are trying to get hold of it and control it, because, you know, new tech. And that's kind of where we are currently. That's kind of what's going on at the moment. We're trying to figure out whether the combined army are traitorous. They probably are. We're trying to decide whether Aleph is really the good guys. They probably are. The Nomads are probably insane and on something. They certainly are. And we're going to find out what happens with Shinju and what goes on beyond there. But that's kind of where we are. So there we are. How did the religious nun vibe pop up in the space prison faction? So your murder nuns kind of came into it. Bakunin is all about individual freedoms and all that kind of stuff. So it formed around people. The rejects, the weird and the wonderful from everywhere else, kind of ended up there as, you know, a place where they could be accepted and live the lives that they wanted to in the way they wanted to, and that included spicy murder nuns, effectively. Kind of, again, simplifying. So the observance is obviously a really good way of asserting power, because a bunch of murder nuns is a great way of controlling people, to be honest with you. So they do. And yes, Bakunin do have very good AI experts as well. So yeah, it's kind of funky. It's an interesting setting. The Tohar wait for the mythical age known as the Year of Tohar. The Tohar wait for a knob of butter on their artichoke heads, because that's all they're good for. That's what they wait for. The violence that will finally put them out of their misery, in my opinion. That's what they're waiting on. As you can tell, Tohar fan. But Tohar's all but nixed at this point, until CB decide to re-release them again. For one time only, the last possible time you can only... This is the last time you'll be able to buy... Definitely, we promise, you won't be able to buy them again. Sure. Call me cynical. Oh dear. Ice Bear Manure. What's up, you old geezer? Oh, you child. You absolute child. One day, your impotent nature is... The thing is, you hit your bedtime just before you become too annoying. That's the thing. Every time, I'm just like, oh, one more thing. And he's like, bedtime, night. Fucking child. Freaking child. Also, schism in the church due to accepting AI as having souls or some BS. Yes, absolutely true. Blissful Badger, hello. Tiny spaceships indeed. Thank you for the TLDR of the Infinity Universe. Yeah, that was very, very basic. That was very, very basic. There's a lot more to it than that, but that's kind of a good primer for 10. Gets you in the right direction. So, I was under the impression that Pano and LF, mainly MO and SB, kept combined army. Did they? Buffalo. And the whole artifact they tried to get, which blew up, slowed the combined army down to us to establish peace. Yeah. You can have that conversation if you want, but yeah, I'm not entirely sure how accurate. How much of that isn't just Aleph propaganda, to be honest with you? Much as I love Aleph, and Aleph was one of my first factions. sometimes you look at the lore and you're like, I'm not sure about the validity of that. Because when you look at like Wotan and stuff, anyway, we're getting into the weeds, Kaz. I'm not getting into the weeds. Then Achilles defects and Pano finds Shinju, which JSA still. That's a lie. JSA got there first. And that's two current fronts that I don't understand things. You're pretty much right, Kaz, but I was simplifying. I'm not used to playing the bad guys in the game. Where are you the bad guys? It's complicated. Also, I wanted to read more. Where should I go to do that? At the moment, we're waiting for the Human Sphere website to be updated with a whole bunch of stuff. That will be the place to do it, but that's been coming soon for a few months now. So we're on CB time, which means that it'll happen at some point soon. Whether that is soon in the life cycle of your average star or your average mayfly is just anyone's guess at this point. Ice Bear, because you know, I know you like this stuff. Review of this coming up, and I'm trying to resist getting a full army because it's so damn good. And this sprue is just rammed. There's gonna be so much. We can talk a lot about this. This sprue is very cool. You know, sometimes you get something like, oof. A year since announced on last year's Interplanetario, exactly. And as I recall, when they announced it at the Interplanetaria that was coming, Larkbeard, they announced it from the perspective of it's coming soon. It sort of hasn't yet. I know it's being worked on though. I was talking to somebody who was doing it the other day. They're like, yeah, we're on it. ... It's like, okay, fair enough. It's a big job getting all of the lore there. I would hang out for that because otherwise you're going through a whole load of books and stuff doing this with the multiverse. So. Whenever I start puberty, you'll be in for long nights. Yeah, well, I've got a while to wait for that, Ice Bear. Just needed a break from packing stuff in for the move. How's it going here? Yeah, good. You're moving. That's nice. Where are you moving to? Good evening, Phoenix. How are you, buddy? Soon TM, very much so, Larkbeard. Yeah, it's going to be a good one, actually. Mega corporations are the bad guy, and you can't change my mind. Yu Ching, Pano, they're Mega Corps. They are very much so. But I don't know. Not everybody. I don't think anyone is really the bad guy, and no one's really the good guy. It's all shades of ambiguity. Like there's areas that are under the control of the combined army where the people are happy that that's happened. They've increased because they've got access to different technology. Yeah, they've lost certain freedoms, but they've gained a lot of other benefits. So it's a double-edged sword. Much as, you know, you're not necessarily under human control anymore, you are living in the future. So, you know, there's that to be said. Like I say, double-edged sword. Oop. Yeah, this is how we did go this light. I thought we did. I thought I went this light on the other one. I think the thing with this drop fleet at the moment is I'm really enjoying painting it. It's really fun to paint. Like, I don't mind sitting down and just tinkering with it and like, I mean, I like wet blending and there's lots of long flat panels to wet blend on these, which is really nice to work on. Although, you know, I don't necessarily do the butteriest, smoothest blending. It's doing all right. It's looking okay, I think. I need a light just here. I need one round this. I haven't got one at the moment because it's quite heavy. This new light, this new camera, sorry. So I need to sort that out. And I managed, while recording the video I was alluding to earlier for the special project that's coming up, to break one of my lights, so that doesn't help. Got to sort that out. You're never going to believe it, I'm back to my parents at my age. Study stuff for half a year, that's all. Ah, good for you. Sounds like a sensible choice. I'm alive, more spaceship painting, go Hydra. Thank you, Phoenix. I'm glad you're well. That's good to hear. Half a year. Good job, Icebear. That's sometimes you need to sort of take that step back and then regather yourself and move forward. It's definitely the way forward. So, fair play, buddy. Wise choices. I had another project to the pile today. I'm looking forward to getting one of them done so I can move on to a dozen more. Blissful Badger. I think tomorrow or the day after, receiving something that when it lands is a whole new vast system that my brain's going to be like, all the things. And yeah. Off the back of that, I think we're going to be doing. I think I'm going to have to do that playthrough of Northern Wind, which means I've got a lot of stuff to paint. It means I've got a ridiculous amount of stuff to paint for Eldfall Chronicles, because I've got all the expansions for it, and I kind of want all the expansions painted. So, at some point, hang on. Actually, I'm not going to do that yet. I'm going to come back to that in a second because I'm on a flow with this, and I don't want to lose the flow. It's just get that done. Do. It's a bit bright. There we go. Turn it down a smidge. That's the stuff. Like there we go. It means at some point I'm going to have to paint all the big stuff that I've got for Eldfall, which is terrible. Poor me. I'm looking forward to it, although incredibly daunted by it. So I have the Blighted Rift spawn to do, which I'm going to show you in a second if you haven't seen it, because it's an absolute beast of a miniature. Although calling it a miniature is a bit of an understatement. You off, Gene Dean? Take care, buddy. So 50 Jade was silver. Indeed. Never ending, since I love to find new shiny things. Absolutely. It looks more like car models than normal miniature painting. Yeah, I go with that. It's fair, Gaming Bench. That is fair. But it's nice. It's nice to have a change of pace, especially, you know, the other things that I have kicking around here is Infinity, which is just hard mode of everything, and Eldfall Chronicles, which is in some ways worse. I mean, not, but also yes, but also not, but also yes, you know? So, but Icebear, I'm trying to decide whether this sprue stays with me or whether I sort of find someone to buy it in the community, because I want to get a Gurkha force. I do. I want that sort of British force. That's definitely a thing that I'd like in my collection. But right now, I don't have the time or the energy to kind of do that. So it's difficult. My life is tough. That's what I'm trying to say. My life is very tough. Don't you all feel sorry for me. It's called a minor. Half a year, I got to do stuff for school, but I can choose what. Doing a sped up version of a different study. After that, I'm going back in. I do have a problem though. My Braun character, the risky armoured boat, doesn't fit anywhere. Again, these are the struggles that you face in life, Icebear, and it's how you deal with that you know the wise choice, and you know the fun choice. It's not quite the same. No, absolutely they're not. They're not. Because I know what the end of my year looks like, or what's sort of lining up for the end of the year. And it's, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that needs doing. There's a lot of stuff that needs finishing off. And adding more stuff to it is just, yeah. But also, yeah. But then, yeah. But then also, you know, it's tough. Hello, doggo. It is tough. Oh, please do the Northern Wind playthrough. I've yet to receive my order from my FOG. Yes, it's been a month. So any kind of Elvenfall contact to tide me over would be really appreciated. There's some stuff coming. But yes, I do want to do that. I do want to do that playthrough. It's just a matter of time and energy and focus. It's a lot of work to pull that all together. Not least, as I say, because I need to get everything painted before I can do that. Because I'm not sticking like grey miniatures on the freaking tabletop for that. It's too damn pretty for that. So I've got a lot of miniatures to paint for that. All of the core box is built. Like my goblins aren't built yet. Although having said that, Machine's got those, so I could just ask to borrow his. I think they're mostly painted. Your Machine, yours are mostly painted, aren't they, your goblins? If I remember correctly. Or are they 100% painted? I cannot recall. So I could just do that. That would definitely be one of the options. But yeah, so I still have a lot to paint even if I do borrow Machine's goblins. I kind of want to do them in a way that they definitely showcase off the system. So yes, they are painted. I thought they were. And that space is looking really nice. Thank you very much. Starting to shape up nicely. I'm having a lot of fun painting it. I wasn't feeling like painting this tonight. I wanted to paint something else, but then I started chatting and I started painting, and it's just kind of, you know, flowed from there really. You have that sometimes. Nights you're like, oh, I don't want to do that, and then you start doing it like, oh, actually, this is fun. I'm enjoying this. This is good. This is good. Getting miniatures painted feels like a great community project for some of our amazing painters here. Yeah, it is. Mostly 3 more of the tiny ones. Okay, good job, Machine. Well, you know, if you happen to finish those off, that might help us expedite the process of starting the Twitch playthrough of Northern Wind, because apparently it's what the people want. And if that's what the people want, who am I to stand in the way of, you know, popular demand? No one, that's who. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it to you, lads and ladies. Well, lads and Evie. You know. She's more of a chicken. Anyway, that's a different story entirely. But yeah, so I'm thinking, because it's like an hour to 2 hours per part of Northern Wind. It's like a Sunday evening stream. That's gonna be the problem. Is it's gonna be the afternoon. You can do that. Cheers, bud. Appreciate you. That woke you up, Evie. Hello. Still there then? Good to see you, chick. But like, yeah, I guess it would be the afternoon for most people, because you can't really do it into the night. You kind of need to do it, I don't know, 8 PM. Because by the time you've done a preamble and a little bit of a recap and stuff like that, then you're going to be starting about 8:30. And then you'll potentially finish at 10:30, which is not unreasonable for the most part. Liking what I'm writing, I see. Then, you know, it's not an unreasonable time to finish on a Sunday, I think. But then that would be, you know, if you're 6 hours behind, that's going to be from 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 2:30 in the afternoon. For my US peoples on a Sunday, I don't know if that's viable. So it requires more thought. Kaz, thank you so much for also subscribing over on Twitch. That's very kind, buddy. Appreciate you. Is that so you can be there when the playthrough starts, so you don't miss a second of the epicness? Yeah, it'll be after the summer though. If that happens, give me time to get the painting done. Woohoo! Oh, that's nice. Just hit another sub goal. That's very enjoyable. They do make it hard on Twitch with the subscriber system and stuff. It's very, yeah. It's a lot more intensive than on YouTube, and YouTube's intense. Especially during like the summer slump, because I don't know whether you guys know, but there's a summer slump for YouTube, where everyone goes on holiday and doesn't watch YouTube, and you just see your views just dump. It's like, great, there's the slump. And then come the late summer, early autumn, it will spring back up again. But in between here and there, it's like, well, I'll just do this for just a lot less people, then that's fine. You don't do it for the numbers, of course, but yeah. Okay, this is coming together again. This is coming together nicely. That ridge there is a bit heavy though. There's a little bit of a like an 18-year-old's tan line. That's a little bit too stark for me. You just got to blend that in a little bit better. That's better. Do-do. I'm totally down to watch some Eldfall. Very curious about the dungeon crawler part, even if you sold your Kickstarter box. How long did that last? My goodness. Shocking behaviour. Just get ready for Apocrypha, that's all I'm going to say. Because we know that's coming soon. That's going to be epic. So I'm led to believe, should we say. Excuse me. I like chasing the colour around when you're wet blending. It's really satisfying to kind of just push it a little bit and push it a little bit more and push it a bit beyond where you want it to be pushed, and then it works. You're like, yes, this is nice, this is good. That's looking all right. Blender's there is a bit clunky, but it's okay. Maybe I could glaze that a little bit. Just here. That's a bit better. Yeah. So in a couple of months we've got Spale coming up as well. I'm going to try from that. One of the other reasons for having this camera is that I should be able to take my camera with me to Spale, and then like get some videos out from there. So we're going to be doing the whole roving reporter speaking to people live at Spale. It's going to be very exciting. Looking forward to doing some interviews with people, because we should have Corvus Belly there. We will have Free Company there. I think TT Combat's going to be there. So hopefully Dave will be there and we can sort of say, right, don't do that. Hang on. Don't do that. Thank you. Sorry, I just started actively tracking this. Like, don't follow the spaceship. Know how that ends up? Ends up with people buying stuff. Anyway. So the general feeling is we're going to do Northern Wind then. Once every 2 weeks. Is that good? Is once every 2 weeks good? I'd like to do once a week, but I don't think that's viable for like life. I think life is too busy for that. So once every 2 weeks. Would that be okay with everyone? Would we enjoy that? I think it would be good. I think it would be very nice. Oh my goodness. What's going on here? Ooh, spaceship. Sorry, sometimes things go quiet and you're like, is this just like died or has it not died? Because you can't really tell. That is the joy. Nope, it's not died. That's okay. Whew. That's cool. So yeah, I'm looking forward to doing that. I'm looking forward to doing like a little bit of a live interview type thing. Once every 2 weeks sounds great. Cool. Isn't wet blending when you have two wet colours and blend them together with a brush? You're just blending one colour over another, right? So that I start with the wet blend, and then what I'm doing is I'm using glazing, and then while the glaze is still wet, I'm wet blending that as well. So I'm doing both. So some of it's just glazing, like I'm going to start this. This bit here is going to start with just a glaze over the top of a lighter colour, just so I can start getting the boundaries of where I want stuff to be. And then I've got that about right, which is this colour and this colour blended together. This is actually more of a mid-tone. And that's gone on nice and wet. That. Part of the problem is it's really warm here as well. So normally it would be wetter than this, but that's okay. So that is wet still. And then we're going to take it up from there, effectively. So I'm doing this a little bit quicker than I have been before, just to give the idea. we're doing. But yeah, no, this is wet blending. That's how it gets to be smooth. If you don't wet blend it, then it'll be a bit clunkier. The definition will be lost. We start losing the ability to work it quite quickly. Actually, I need that darker colour. Come here. And I'm not cleaning my brush in between. I'm just going from one colour to the next and back again. So the brush is also wet with the various colours. So this is all still wet on here at the moment. I don't know if you can see that on camera. That's how it's not getting like thick defined lines. And there you can see it's dried a bit, so it's kind of caught. If we can we do that? It's like here, it's caught a little bit where it started to dry out. Then I have to wait a minute, move to something else and come back. Otherwise it will just get really messed up. But even actually, my wet palette started out incredibly wet, and it's dry enough and warm enough in here that it's time to dry out my wet palette on one end, which is just annoying. Actually, what I can probably do is, even with it a bit drier, this will probably work. There you go, that worked okay. And this one here. But also my brush is quite wet as well, multiverse, so when it's going over recently dried paint, it kind of reactivates it a little bit. Oh, that's just got a little bit right. We were a bit enthusiastic there and we shouldn't have been. Anywho, but yeah, wet blending. It's a sudden Armageddon, nearly avoiding your room. It is. The paint stays wet far longer than mine then. My glaze would have dried by the time I went to the second colour. Yeah, my wet palette is very, very wet, and I have these, like, can we do this? This is going to be, this. You can see the mess that my wet palette's in with the colours around the other day. But these are very, very, like, you can see how wet that is. It's very, very fine and very, very wet. So that's what we're working with here to get that effect, or to get that result. It's probably the better way of putting it. But that's kind of the way you have to make it work, especially in this dry weather. Just have it a lot wetter. Some people use medium and stuff like that, but I don't like that. I prefer just to use water. This works fine. You can just feather in the edges easier as well when it's very when it's very liquid. Like that. Boop. So I do need that light behind me. But I'm by no means an expert on this stuff. Most of this is done by feel. Like, does that feel right? Yes, it does. It feels good. But yeah, it works. I like the results. That's the important thing. Like, I have friends who are very, very good painters, and they're like, they have theory and they have like the technical knowledge, and I'm like, that's not me. I do it by, does it feel nice? Does it look nice when it rolls off the brush? Is that the effect we're getting? The answer is yes. We happy? And the answer is yes tonight, which is interesting. Yeah, it's working. That is all acrylic paint. Yes, it is. I think that's what I haven't learned properly. I can't get my pro acryl to become so thin and still be functional. Yeah, different pigments work differently. That's the thing, Multiverse. If you're in a really dry area, you need to humidify your room to make this kind of thing work, and that's just not necessarily practical. It's not necessarily one of the options, you know. But being in the Netherlands is damp. In all the nicest possible ways, it's damp. So that ain't so much of an issue from my perspective. I am lucky on that front. When it is an issue, it sucks though, so you have my full sympathy. There are points where it does get that hot and you're just like, yep, no. There is no point trying to wet blend anything because it just ain't going to work. Yeah. If you mean whom I think you mean, I'm also very jealous of their skills. Oh, many, 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 many. There are several people within our community, I spare, that you look at their work and you're just like, well, apparently I am completely incapable of using a brush because I can't do that, and I don't know what that alchemy is. But unfortunately, they're also incredibly nice mammals. So you're like, well, I like you. I just don't like that you can paint like that because it makes me feel incompetent. So now I'm conflicted. Yeah. This is sort of zoomed along this. I don't know what's going on this evening. Do you ever have those evenings where it just kind of works? You're like, oh yeah, what I'll do is I'll just make that this color, and I'm sure that somewhere through this process it'll sort of work and it'll look okay. And then you do it and you're like, no, that looks more than okay, that looks fine, that looks great. Right, good. And then there's other evenings where you're like, well, I'll try the exact same thing, and it turns out absolutely diabolically. I'm not entirely sure how that works, whether it's a perception issue or whether it's a skill issue, but it's probably both. I'm going to take that. I'm going to accept that about myself. And there's a bit of grey there that I just need to darken up. Boop, boop, boo. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what we're doing tonight, but it's working. Who knows? Magical. It's time, a lot of time. Yeah, no, absolutely true, Phoenix. Comparison is a thief of joy. It absolutely is. If you mean the Discord, then yeah, we have some mind-blowing painters. Yeah, Discord and in our local community as well here. Kaz, the gaming group that I run, some of the people that paint on there, you're just like, how? How did any of that happen? How did you do that with a brush? It's just not, that's not one of the options as far as my brushes are concerned. My brushes aren't, they're not stupid. They've got clever brushes. They can't do that. One of our local Infinity painters, Mean Green Minis on Instagram, Gio, he is the loveliest human being in the world, and his miniatures are gorgeous, and he paints every day. He paints pretty much every day. And like, well, that'll do it. If you're able to sort of commit that level of time to it, then yeah, of course that's going to make all the difference. It doesn't stop me being jealous, but yeah. But like I say, a lovely human being as well, so don't begrudge him his epic skills by any stretch. Turn this up a little bit more actually. A slightly harder edge. I think this is actually kind of almost there. This is almost at a point where I need to start putting on that camo, you know. It's almost at the point where we need to do that, which is a little worrying. I find the camo with this type of thing to always be the most stressful bit. Because like you get the nice blends down and you're kind of like, oh yeah, that base is looking good, that sort of base colour's fine and it's working nicely, and then you're like, right, so now I'm going to just doodle over the top of it and hopefully not completely screw it all up. Yeah, what could go wrong? What could go wrong? Quite a lot, as it goes. But hopefully tonight it won't. Should we put some camo on people? What do you think? So I think if I spend too much time, more time working on this, there's also that knowing when to stop, isn't there? Like, okay, I could do a little bit more here and I could do a little bit more there, and then I think that looks okay. What do we think? That looks all right. I think the blends are okay, most part. So what I've decided I'm going to do with these is that I'm going to do the coloured bits like this, get them all done, get the camo on, get that done, and then we're going to take it and we're going to airbrush a gloss varnish over the top. Just give it a really strong like gloss finish, hopefully. Hopefully we can do that. Just to give it an extra sort of alien-y type shininess. A natural type shininess to it. And then move on to the metallics, basically. That's the idea. So half of professional painting is the skill of photography, but it's still leagues above me. Yeah, no, true. That's can be said for it as well, Ice Bear. Discord and community have significant overlap, though. Yes, they do. You're quite right on that front. You are quite right on that front. I am very lucky to have some very supportive friends. Some of these look like they were a real thing that just got shrunk. It's incredible. I'm just happy I've gotten the correct colour in the right area. I hear you. I hear you. That's absolutely true. That sucks. Unboxed the item and I was missing the rulebook. Tokens and 12 of the minis meant to be inside. Ouch! That's not good. What was that? What were you unboxing? Yes, it is multiverse. Yes, whacking a gloss varnish over this is definitely me putting my brave pants on. But I want to go for that kind of thing. A very good friend of mine, a different other painter, the Unknown Painter. He painted many years ago a Custodes army, and it's actually used. It's the purple and silver one on Tabletop Tactics. If you ever watch Tabletop Tactics 40k, their Custodes army was painted by him, and all of the purple, this really rich purple, and he did this gloss over the top of it, and it's layers and layers and layers and layers and layers of gloss, and it is just this perfectly shiny, gorgeous sort of finish to it. It's just breathtaking, and I can just see these. I mean, the thing is, fortune favours the brave, and you've got to try these things, and sometimes you're going to fail and it's not going to work and it's going to suck. And other times you're going to do it and it's going to be brilliant. And the only way that you learn is by doing this stuff. So, yeah, brave pants on, airbrush in hand, and away we go. I bought from one of the companies that does use games. It said, and all components were on Storm Sprue. Guess they didn't check well. Ugh. That's rough. That is rough. Yeah, that is a... sort of strongly worded letter of complaint on email by breakfast time, I'd imagine. If you're anything like me, I simply shall not be standing for this. This is not acceptable. Give me my toys or my money. Because mostly toys, actually. I want the toys because that's why I ordered the thing. Because I ordered it because that's the thing I wanted. Hopefully you can sort that, dude. Because that's rough. Hate that. Hate that greatly. Oof. There we go. What do we think? Should we? Yeah. I think I like how this looks just like this. I think it looks sweet like this. I think like with the orange on there, that's going to give it contrast, all the rest of it. But I just want to put that camo on there. I just want to do it. Oh, look out. Medea in the face. But I think that looks nice as it is. What do we think? I've still got the minis I painted first. If I'm down in the dumps, I look at those minis and think, so I did improve. Yes, Ice Bear Minute. When I started painting, everything was in black and white, so you know. Let's see. I painted my first wargaming miniature in about 1988. That's, yeah. Maybe 87, 88. That's fair. It's not for competition, so live and learn. That's the thing. You're not... Unknown Painter that I was talking about a minute ago, he was very much kind of like, do the thing, try the thing out, try the different method, give it a go. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If it goes terribly and it sucks and you hate it, well, yeah, okay, that's rough, but it's a miniature, it's a hobby, it's an opportunity to learn. So, yeah, we grow and we try stuff, and it's the only way to progress, really, because if you're going to be sort of constantly, constantly safe, then you don't get anywhere. You know, you don't progress, you don't develop, and that's, yeah, not the idea. So yeah, right, let's get this picture in front, because I have a picture of how I want these to look. And I can look at that and I can go, right. So this is like that. We're gonna take it. We're gonna take it and we're gonna do it. We'll do it. All right, here we go. Here we go, folks. Brace yourselves. Ye gods. Right, so what we need first is we need some more paint. Need a bit more paint. I need, is that one? Graphene grey. There we go. And I need black. Where's my black gone? I need, whoop. There's my black. It's a bit of a lively one. You go for that. Now, the question is, do I go, I don't want to use that. I don't want to use that paint. I don't have much of that paint. So we definitely don't want that. I could do that. I think I've got a lot of this. Pretty shoots to shoot down. Oh, Phoenix. Oh, buddy. How'd that work out for you last time, chap? How did shooting down the PHL work out for you? Was that good? Did you enjoy that? 87, 88, or were you 4? Why do you need to constantly progress and improve? It's a hobby. You do it for fun. Improvement is in effect not the goal. So the answer to that is because I have in my head a way that I want this fleet to look. And I have had PHR before, not in this particular game, but as a faction. And they are my main fleet. They are my main army because I love them. So I have my, over here, come here, come on. Over here we have my UCM. And my UCM, I love these guys, but they're done really quick and dirty because this is a demo fleet. They are literally like dry brush. There's a little bit of an edge highlight on there, but I've kept this deliberately quick and dirty because I want these for a demo fleet, and that's fine. I didn't want to learn anything from this. This was just purely to be used for demos and intros. Then I have these guys. I have my biophyces. They're a little bit more excessive, obviously, with this blend on the panels. Why? Because I'm doing this on a machine. So machines, military orders are painted in purple and yellow, and I wanted to do them in purple and yellow. I've not done any biophyces before, so I wanted to go a little bit crazy and try something a little bit more bold with these. So I did that, and this is what we ended up with. And then we come to the PHR, and the PHR is my fleet. These are my guys, and these are the ones that I want to love and that I'll use. These ships will end up, they have a class, but they'll end up with a name. They won't be individually named. I know that about myself. I know that's what's coming. So I want to spend the time, and I want to push, and I want to develop them, and I want to try new things. So yeah, it's a conscious choice to go a little bit harder and to go a little bit heavier with it, basically. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. So that's why I'm doing what I am with the 4 Seasons project, getting me out of my comfort zone and experimenting, and it's going fantastically, Multiverse. I have to say, you're doing some really nice work with that, Sienna. It's really, really nice. And also, you see, we're trying with this guy. So this guy is a battle cruiser. He's a light battle cruiser, which is fine. But over here, behind me, we have a battleship. And I want to get it right before I come to this. Because like this is a much, I mean, it's a bigger lump of destruction. There's no two ways about that. It's a beast. And this is a Caesar. This is going to be kind of, I want this to be going on the same, I mean, you can see the guns under the chin here. It's just like, yeah. Oh, I want this to look gorgeous when it's done. So we push here, and then by the time here, hopefully we have a process, we have a design that we're really happy with and that works. So that is the theory. Again, TED Talk, cheers, appreciate you. Oh, in doing that, I knocked over a Memnon, which is another battleship. So this is a super carrier. This just deploys aircraft after aircraft after aircraft out of all these little hangars on the side. Or spacecraft, I suppose. Fighters and bombers come out of this. It's going to be great. Look forward to this one, Phoenix. You'll enjoy facing this. I think this is 8 fighters or bombers per turn. just pooped out the front. A couple of torpedoes there for you, should you decide to come calling. We have gifts for you. So that's nice. But I want to get those right before I get there. And I've forgotten what this class is. This is another battle cruiser, but I want this to look perfect as well, because big freaking guns down the side. It's literally just, I mean, to describe this as a gunboat is slightly underselling it. This is literally a, I see you, I shoot, you are not there anymore. What happened? Where did you go? It's disappeared. Oh no, do it again. Love it. Will not do shooting noises during games. But yes, I painted up all of my heavy stuff. I thought that he's this little stumpy thing with just a load of guns on it. You've got like, I've got the broadsides. I do the mischievy shooting stuff. I turn up and blow everything up. That's this. That's him. Things go boom. Love it. I have so much to paint. I really do not need to, but do want to. Put all of my PHR out and marvel at the amount of work I've given myself to do. Poor life choices. I know that feeling. I painted up my JSA and the studio theme to get them on the table, but now I'm having second thoughts. I kind of want to push myself painting-wise and do my own colour scheme. So, yeah, no, I get that. Asking for friends. How many models does this game have during play, typically? Varies, 10, 20, something like that. You can buy one of the Battle Force boxes, though, and that'll... So the game plays at 1,000 or 1,500 points. If you buy one of the Battlefleet boxes, that will do about 1,500 points of game in one box. It's about 100 euros under, in fact, under, courtesy of JW. So, yeah, definitely worth looking at. And if you want a demo, I have fleets, so you can try it. I might spend the next year repainting them all one by one, so I can play whatever I want, but get better at the same time. It's what I love is when you have an army and you start off at a certain sort of quality, you're like, yeah, this is nice, and you get to the end, you finish it, and you look at the first one, you're like, damn it, we got so much better. What do I do? Your process of these is the same I'm taking with my Yuching painting, the Zanshi, to learn the process. Then when I get to the rest, I have it locked in so I can just do. Yeah, absolutely, very much so. I mean, this fleet has got... My drop zone fleet has got excessive. I've wanted a space game for a while. Like, I was looking at Acheron Falls from the guys associated with Corvus Belli. I looked at that. Various other things that have come through. And I've always been kind of like, that's not quite the thing. And I played, or I owned and played a very little bit of Drop Fleet 1, and it was not good. It was not a good game for a whole raft of reasons. So when 2 came around, I kind of looked at it. I gave it the sneaky side eye. I'll be honest, I gave it the sneaky side eye. I was like, oh yeah, okay. Back again then, are you? Come around once more, have you? I see how it is. And I kind of ignored it because, you know, once bitten and all that. And then I actually started, I saw they've replaced a load of stuff that used to be resin with plastics and really nice plastics. I was like, oh, go on then, I'll take a look. And I took a look and I was like, damn it, that's really nice. Okay, well, I checked the rules. So I checked the rules because obviously then, you know, they screwed up there before, to be honest with you. So clearly they've done that again. No, the rules are really nice. It was like, oh, no. I fell for my own trap of just wait and see. And when it's nice, we'll maybe look at it. And then it is nice. And you're like, well, great. So, but it's good. It's nice that they've put this system together that's really kind of, it's got a nice flow to it. You have control. You have choices you can make. It's not wholly like one-sided if things start going wrong. It doesn't sort of collapse like certain other systems do. It's got some balance in there and unique flavors per faction. It's just a good system. So I'm glad to be stuck into it, but I wish I'd maybe eased up a little bit, but that would not be my style at all. Between me and Kaz, buy it all and see what happens. Absolutely multiverse. The joy of Infinity is most of the stuff is metal, so you can just strip it, take the base off, slap it in isopropyl alcohol, away you go. And there's, yeah, that is really useful. It has to be said. And there's something called simple green as well. You can do with the plastics if they have it. Don't quote me on that one. But there are things you can do with that as well. Buy all the things. Buy everything. I've just seen a pitch. I've just briefly seen that picture on that you put on Discord of building stuff. Is that so? That's a Tony tag. You've got a Tony Tickbelang, a gentleman of taste. Have to say, absolute. Not what? How many drummers? What's wrong with you, man? How many? Hey, gods. Anyway, gotta love it. Right, we were actually here for. I was looking at my phone for a reason. Got this pattern. Right, here we go, guys. If there's a little bit quiet for a minute. Eased up means buying 2 battle fleets and 4 battle cruisers for all 6 factions. Yes. No, you see, well, yes. Well, see, I have 4 battle cruisers and I'm not sure that's enough. That's the problem. Take part in capitalism. If you spend enough, you win capitalism. It's amazing. I was very excited to find it. Yeah, Tony is... love Tony. We will not forget. Alive. We will not forget. I used to have the pin somewhere around here. That was such a tragic day. I have to say, Season 8. ITS Season 8, that was. I remember. I was there. I was there when she died. What we're talking about is... before it gets even weirder, there was a particular miniature in Infinity from Corvus Belli that players like myself of a particular faction had waited on a long time. We'd wanted it, we'd needed it, and it was a particular type of large robot, a tag, basically, a stompy, scary thing. And we'd kind of waited on this a long time. And then Corvus Belli said, oh, it's coming, great news, it's on its way. And we're like, yay! And they released it as part of the tournament season. So you could get a standard one, a standard Tickbelang, and then you could get one that was for this character that we'd been waiting on. Okay? It was going to come with Season 8. And then the story for Season 8 dropped, and it was... And then she died. And it's like, what the absolute... I'm sorry, excuse me? And it turned out the character we'd been waiting for quite some time snuffed it as soon as she arrived. It was devastating. It really was. It was, the language was just intense. But yeah, it was very narrative and it made sense within lore and all the rest of it. But yeah, part of me is not forgiven them for that yet. Probably never will, if I'm honest. But yeah. That's how it goes sometimes when you play a Corvus Belli game. They just snuff out your stuff. We should have realised, to be honest with you, when they took away that they were going to kill Tony when they took away Kodali from Yu Ching as well. So, monsters. But that was okay because that was Yu Ching, so we didn't really mind when they lost stuff. But you know, when it's your characters you've been waiting for and they suddenly aren't there anymore, it's very annoying. So yeah. Simple green does work for plastic minis, but it takes a while. Soak, scrub, repeat till it's all off. Not great for resin though. Noted, Multiverse. Noted. So when I have to strip this, don't use that, as it takes a while. I need to be a little bit bolder with this, I think. I have Tony, Old Sepulchre, Old Father Knight, Old Sylar, Old Drakios, Magister Knight, Mendoza, and Luna from Aristaea. Got some fun ones in that pile. Yeah, I saw there were some epic miniatures in there. But when it's Tony, you put Tony on a pedestal, because, you know, it's Tony, isn't it? Gotta be done. Got to give the Tony love. I use other minor miniatures, don't care about those. You think? Is that shaping up alright? Is that looking? Hang on, let's fill that in a little bit more. It's looking alright, isn't it? Boop. Oh, it's very nerve-wracking stuff painting this camo. It really is. It's just like, oh, have I screwed it up? Have I made it alright? Does it look okay? Yeah, it does. It looks fine. Alright, okay, well I'll do the next stripe then. Oh no, no, we're fine on there too. That's good. Right, lovely. Just trying to keep it organic and not too kind of structured. I don't want this to look too like a standard pattern, you know? There's certain looks and feels inside of a Tiger Sharks pattern though that needs to be replicated so that it feels about right for the inspiration, for the source, you know? What do you think? I think it's looking alright. Looking suitably badass, I think. I wasn't even playing when JSA separated from Yuqing, and I'm mad about it because they have Cornwalls, but I don't need a 5th army. Yeah. I tried so hard to emulate your camo scheme on my Varuna and failed epically. After 3 attempts, I gave up. I don't know, I don't think I'm perfect with it yet, but like I have a source, a sort of inspo image, and just try and stick true to that is the only thing you can do. But then I've done camo before, and I've done camo that was bloody awful. And it's kind of a balance of restraint and having the eye for what looks right. And sticking the process is really easy to kind of, like one of these early ones that I did, I looked at it when I did it and I was like, that's ugly, that's not going to work. This one here. I just didn't like it. But you keep going and you do another one and you do another one because it's not the individual strokes that matter, it's the whole effect. So you kind of, it's easy to kind of pull away too soon and then it would have worked, but you didn't quite give it long enough or enough strokes for it to work, you know? Got to give it time. That's what I would say. And as I say, not have it too structured, too repetitive. That's looking okay. Do we like that? Do we like how that looks? I think that looks okay. Yeah. I really like Stripwell. I bought most of my army secondhand and I really hate the standard Yuqing all orange. It makes no sense to make all your armour orange. Well, yes. But then, you know, this is an era where we have advanced sensors and technology where how useful is camo? How useful is sort of DPM and that kind of material? Probably not that useful on a day-to-day basis, you know? So I get the theory of just being like, nah, stuff it, we're going to go crazy and do our own kind of exciting colorations on it. But yeah, I do hear you. But you are talking to somebody who at one point had a JSA army that was painted in pinks and blues and that kind of stuff. So, you know, be warned. Your mileage with my schemes may vary. My mileage with my schemes varies, to be fair. That's why I haven't painted my Euro and 2 Megazoids yet. They would be harder to strip properly. Fair one. Get yourself dialed in on the scheme first and then go for it. That's definitely my recommendation. Yeah, imagine dressing in all orange. Horrible. Shush, Dutch person. I get what you're going for. I hear you. It's not King's Day yet. Ooh, okay. What do you think? What do you think, gang? Does that look alright? Don't actively track. I didn't want you to actively track. I wanted you to just focus. The Eugene army is yellow, but they use orange for the shadow, or at least that's how I paint it. Yeah. Zebra, don't... Evie, this is why you don't get nice things. World Cup has ended yesterday. Yes, it did indeed. It did indeed. And England came third. I don't care. Sorry, I don't. I know. I'm supposed to. National pride and all that sort of stuff, but no. Ball's the wrong shape. So, yeah. It's just very... Every time there's a World Cup, I find it very awkward because you always just have like a whole bunch of English people going, oh, it's coming home, we're going to win this time. And I'm like, well, based on recent evidence, probably not. But there we go. One day, hopefully, they'll be right, and that'll be nice for them. You know, I still will feel the same. I wouldn't suddenly develop a love for it, but people should be able to enjoy their stuff, even if I don't. I don't have to enjoy everything. Oop, that one there. Yeah, looking badass. Now, you suitably sharky. Thank you very much. It's not... What? Bright eye spearman here. You look at it from space and it's going over like this. It's going over the ground. Then, you know, because these fly in orbit, just to be clear. They're in orbit. They're not on the ground. So you're going to be looked down at... It's going to be over grass. You won't be able to see it. Like, ooh, you don't see me. And then you look up from like ground and then you're going to see the kind of... This kind of... It's based on a Lancaster. So that's that. Well, Lancaster was slightly darker on the belly, I think. But yes. I went to the Tennessee Vols game 1 year ago. Had to wear all orange and white. I looked like a massive pumpkin. But were you a happy massive pumpkin, Kaz? That's the important question. They tried to recruit me for ball. Besides the fact it was Tennessee, I wasn't wearing orange all day every day. I love the way it's like, I'm not playing your stupid sport because you've got difficult... Don't like the colours. Not nice. Not happy with it. Love you dearly. Suspension of disbelief of the British. Their chants are amazing. They really are. And, well, it's I wouldn't say it's suspension of disbelief. I would say it's more English exceptionalism. That's what it comes down to, which is why it sort of... I don't like it so much. Camera really does look badass. Thank you very much, Kaz. Hopefully English people won't react to winning the World Cup the way New Yorkers reacted to the Knicks winning. I don't know how New Yorkers reacted to the Knicks winning, but the English will probably react to winning with a whole lot of arrogance and then fighting people, because that's kind of... That's the thing. That's the standard process in these sort of situations, you know? But hey, we shall see. But yeah, it hasn't happened yet, and we've got at least another 4 years to wait before it could happen again. So, you know, no stress just yet. Maybe next time. Who knows? We shall see. Boop. The boop was technically required. Got that last bit on the butt. A long time ago, I was at a World Cup game, England versus Germany. English fans would chant, "If you won the war, stand up." It was glorious. Gods. Yes. Yes. Then I hope they didn't stand up, because arguably, whilst we were definitely involved in the war and instrumental in the winning thereof, we didn't do it on our own. So standing up in that situation would be a little bit, you know, a little bit of a bold statement. even for the most enthusiastic of Englishmen. Well, probably not actually. Probably not. It's a bit of concentration going on now. I'm going quiet. Can you tell? It doesn't happen very often, but here we are. It's looking alright. That's looking okay. I'll do the top of this wing, the underside, the belly, the back. It's a lot of. It's one of these things where I'm like, you've set yourself up for a lot of work here. You really have, and it's gonna be great. But, oof, dude, why? Why do you do this to yourself? I do not know. I can see chat whirring away in the corner of my eye there, but I'm gonna have to just focus here for a second. Where are we? New York was crazy for a few days. Glad I live on the island and don't have to go over to the city proper. Fair play. I get you wouldn't like exceptionism. It's stupid to think that Barry 63 from England is different from Keith 63 in the US. Absolutely. Oh, you need to watch clips of New York City. Okay, noted. Who's the most important in the war depends on who you actually ask. Russians took Berlin and started. Yeah. There's a whole discussion to be had, but there are certain elements within British culture who would have you believe that if it wasn't for the English, well, no one. It's just not possible. You know, it's not possible that anyone could have beaten Hitler if it wasn't for. So yeah. Anyway, I just said the H word on YouTube. That's probably me demonetized forever at that point. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that kind of rhetoric. It leads unpleasant places. After watching your latest Maximus stats in the video, is he supposed to be the best character in the game now? Hello, Mike. Always a pleasure. Sausages, no comment. And. It's the same thing. It's the same thing as ever. Just, yeah, a unit that's, I don't know. Has he over-tweaked? Probably not, but he's certainly a crunchy little munchkin, isn't he? He's certainly got some toys that he is bringing to the table en masse. Is it too much? Is he too cheap? Wow. Time will tell. You just have to rely on CB's ability to balance things. So there's that. What do we think? I think that's looking suitably zebra-esque before Evie says it. It's looking nice. It's looking good. Zebra, yes, thank you. Nod. Glad you're happy with yourself, Evie. It's me trying to be all badass and calling it a tiger shark effect. And you're like, no, zebra. Shut up, Dobbin. It's clearly not a shark. Oh. Dog growling in its sleep behind me. It's the fluffiest, cutest little thing you've ever seen, but yeah, it's definitely scary. Definitely scary. Everyone be scared. And next we've got anti. Got to go. Great comments. Thank you, Multiverse. You take care, buddy. Thank you for hanging out. Lovely to see you as ever. Definitely scary indeed, Evie. I know you'll be scared. Meanwhile, we Dutchies produced the Goat, Conrad, Shipperday, who's those Dutch subs the Japanese would have taken Australia. Well, there. Can you give me a quick rundown of the Drop Fleet game? Give you something to talk about, or do you want me to look up myself? So, Drop Fleet is a system. We'll talk about it very quickly because I'm going to dive off in a second. I'm nearly going to call that. Yeah, no, I'm going to do a little bit of that. So, Drop Fleet is a system. Let's talk about that. The game itself is very objective based. So, you're going to have a purpose, and a lot of it is, as the name implies, dropping stuff and capturing things like cities and space stations and taking control of them as you try and reconquest Earth from the alien monsters, or resistance, depending on how you look at it. So the game is not really kind of a standard shooty. It takes place in orbit around Earth or other locations similar to Earth. And two players go against each other. It takes about 2 hours per game. It's sort of similar in sort of duration to Bolt Action, which I know you're familiar with, Ice Bear. And when it's your turn, so when the game starts, or when the tone starts, the two players roll a d6. You add a value based on the quality of your admiral, the person leading your fleet, and then whoever wins that gets to choose to go first, second. You will then do alternating activations. So you'll activate a group at a time. No, I said group, not a ship, because some groups contain multiple ships. It tends to be with your smaller craft, like these little Medea down here, these little guys. They can come in groups of 2, but there's other groups that can be up to sort of 6 craft. You will then give them one of a set of orders of things they can do. So again, that will appeal very much to your bolt action nature. And you can do things like go into general quarters, where you can turn 45 degrees and then move between half and your full speed. You can go weapons free, where you can do that, but then fire everything. If you're general quarters, you just fire half of your weapons, which in some cases is still quite a ridiculous amount of firepower. But or you can maneuver, or you can go on repairs and stuff like that. You can then attack, depending on what order you gave. And the great thing about the system, it's quite interesting. There's no range on your weapons, but your ship will have something called a signal and a scan. Now, when you are targeting another ship, you take the scan of your ship, you add the signal of their ship, and that tells you the range at which you can see it to shoot. So if you have a big ship that you're targeting, it may have a signal of 10, which is kind of, that's the heat that it gives off, its electromagnetic signature, what you can physically see. I said 10, didn't I? Yeah. And then if your ship's got a scan of 8, you take their signal of 10, add it to your 8, and you can see them 18 inches. That's when you can target them. So that's kind of funky. You can also do things called spiking. So if you go weapons free and you fire all your weapons, then you gain 2 spikes, which is basically you suddenly light up like a Christmas tree. Each one of those spikes adds 3 inches to your range. So, you know, these ships can get, I think it's a maximum of 4. So you can add 12 inches to your signal range, basically. That's what it extends. So if this was normally 10, and then you gain 4 spikes, it would then be 22. Hey, Euroblob, thank you very much. What's all this then? We're working on some Drop Fleet. We're currently talking about how Drop Fleet works, mate. So then your scannable range would then be 22 plus the 8 inches, sorry, your signal range would be 22 plus the scan range of 8 that we talked about before. So you could be seen at 30 inches. It's played on a 4x4 board. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. There's quite a time to die on the ships, actually. They don't sort of just instantly explode under a single attack. They do take some pounding, especially certain factions. They all have unique playstyle. So this is a PHR crew. I want to say heavy cruiser. I think it's PHR heavy cruisers is the classification. And as you can see, we have these little knobbles down the side. Those are actually guns. And what PHR specialise in is broadsiding people, so flying into the middle of it and then just releasing hell from both sides simultaneously. But from the front, we don't have anything. So you're not shooting anything as you're flying towards it. You have to turn and then give them hell. UCM, which is one of the other ones we were looking at a minute ago, they are more generalist. They've got turrets that you can see. They can fire in various directions, as you can imagine. But they're nowhere near as tough as the PHR, but a little bit quicker. So there's lots of flavour in there. It's a decent system, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. It plays really smoothly. It takes about 5 minutes to learn, but it takes a lot longer to master because of the skills and abilities of different ships and stuff. So the standard run, move and shoot, and barrage along those lines. Off to barbecue dinner. Have a great night and great vacay. Thanks, Kaz. Enjoy your food. And a pleasure as ever, my friend. Great to hang out. How many factions? Currently 6, I spare here. How auspicious. I was just watching your drop fleet video. Aha! Well, you have taste then, the surfer. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Mission to registrants. Along those lines. How's the mission variety? There's quite a fair few. You roll for... this is going to make your ears twitch, I swear. You roll for your deployment, you roll for your setup of the table, you roll for your primary mission, you roll for secondary mission, and there's D6 options. So there's quite a lot of variety within that. But it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. It's a fun system. If you're looking for something that's uber deep and uber crunchy, it's not that. This system is not that. If you're looking for something that is fun, that is quick to learn, will not take a lot of upkeep. So what I mean by that is, with Infinity, thank you. If you play Infinity, you need to invest time in Infinity on a regular basis to keep your rules knowledge up to date, to get your list writing up to date, to keep your faction knowledge up to date, all that kind of thing. With Drop Fleet, there's none of that. It's not really a concern in any way, shape or form. You learn the rules, as long as you remember the rules, which are relatively straightforward. The game itself, yeah, it doesn't take a huge amount of effort to stay on top of. Each faction has between 50 and 60 different ships that you can run. You can run multiples of them as well. List building is relatively simple. There's a couple of key rules you have to follow, and when you get your heads around those, it's simple and straightforward. So, are all of the faction ships released? Yes. Yes, we're getting additional stuff. How many guns do you have? Yes, that is very much PHR Euroblob. It is very much that. It is literally just like ship goes burr. So, Uncle Mike, you have different tonnages of ships. So you have colossal, heavy, medium, and light. The light, medium, and heavies are all multi-part plastic kits. So you'll get, so this is built from the Battlecruiser kit. And the Battlecruiser kit comes with 2 ships in the box, and there are 11 different variants that can be built from that box. So that's the thing. The battleships is a similar sort of, I think there's about 7 or 8 different battleships that you can build. The only one that's slightly different is your colossal dreadnoughts, and a dreadnought. There are 2 variants of it. When you buy the dreadnought, you get both variants, but they are resin, and this is a dreadnought. It's a bit of a beast, as you can see. If you're wondering why it's got big guns down here, it's because when the enemy takes an objective, captures the city, this will fly over it and just blow the city up. So yeah, you gotta love them. But they're nicely detailed and they're pretty, and I cannot wait to start painting this guy, but I'm trying to be a grown-up and get the core stuff painted first. Here's a big old lump of resin. Just gonna sit there and wobble for a second. But yeah, you get your scale. These aren't actually the smallest ships. These little frigates aren't the smallest ships. We have some smaller ones. Let's do those a second. You can see the really wee stuff. Ow. So this is a little orbital fighter that you get as well in the game. It's quite tiny. And you also get space stations. So because we're talking about it, you can see a space station as well. The space stations are really cool because they come, you buy a box and it contains all this sprues of stuff, and then you get to put them together how you see fit. So this is a little space station that I stuck together from that set, and there's probably a good 8 or 9 other space stations that I'm going to build from that particular set. It's just funky. It's just it's Lego for grown-ups. Brilliant. So much fun putting this together. I have like 3 or 4 that I've built, but I won't get them all. Oh, actually, I can just show you the box. That's easier. This is the space station box, and these are the kind of things that you capture. So these can all be built from the sprues that are in the box. They're mostly hard plastic, as I say. The sprue. Should we look at the sprue? We'll look at the sprue while we're here. I think I have some that I haven't even cut into yet. Yep, I do. So there you go. So if you like your multi-part kits and building stuff and customizing stuff, this kind of thing is brilliant. Hours of fun for this. I sit down in front of it and I'm like, right. So if I take this and this, and I can put it together, get a circular, this and go this, and yeah, we've spent way too long on building space stations. The ships themselves, although they're multi-part kits, you have standard layouts that you'll use. So I like throwing dice. Heck, that's why I'm playing Soviets. How many dice are rolled? Buckets is the straight answer, I spare. If you are running, there is a single ship in UCN, so in the standard human faction, that on a single attack will throw 50 dice. That's 50, 50. This little guy here, each of these broadsides, these are light broadsides, I believe it's 12. There are 2 of those broadsides per side, so it's 24 dice on each side, and you can shoot out both simultaneously. So this could throw 48 dice from memory. Bert. It's a lot of fun. It's buckets of dice. But then you get other ships that are smaller, that are less sort of intimidating or more powerful. This big guy here, I think he throws 4 dice, I think, which you can get up to 6. But when they hit, whatever sort of gets hit stays hit in a very strong terminal fashion. So entirely up to you which way you go. Oop, don't fall over, don't do that. Looking at them, Biofighters and Scourge both look cool to me. That's because Biofighters are cool, my friend. They're very cool ships. Very interesting. And I love the lore of Biofighters. The fluff around them is just brilliant. Scourge is giving some alien vibes. Yes, plus they have a classification of ship called a Hydra, and I'm like, oh, no. That's a little bit, no. Is this Beer and Pretzels Friday night game? Heck yes. This is a game that you play with your buddies, and you just shout spaceship all the time, and spaceship things happen, and it's just so much fun, and it looks great on the table. Every time I put this down at like our local gaming nights, you just get people around it going, ooh, it's like, yeah, woo. Hang on a second. Let me just show you this. They were doing a terrible thing that you should absolutely never do, of showing a picture on a phone on a screen. But we're going to do that because we're a professional. But this was a game in process here from a little while back. And it's just this bit at the back here. This is a city that we're trying to capture, and like you've got this one's activated. This one's got some spikes on it. This one was in the process of falling into orbit and then onto the surface of the planet. It's just, yeah, you got this big skirmish of the light ships at the back there that was just turning into a massive punch up. So much fun. Hang on, where's the? Yeah, you get the idea. It's just a great system of absolute anarchy. This was the city that was being captured over here at the back. There's fighters and bombers. That's a bomber squadron there going through. They can be released. You have aircraft carriers effectively. So it's a great system. I have a lot of love for it. And as soon as I started playing it, as soon as I started tinkering with it, it was just kind of like, oh my God, this is so enjoyable. No stress, just fun. And that's what a game should be, in my opinion. And Drop Fleet is very much that. Yes, Euroblob, the Hydra does look cool, and I'm resisting so much. Ultimate Dakar, very much so, I spare. Spaceship! That's right. This is ground control to Major Tom. Yeah, and then we fire big guns that do the thing. Argonaut, is that for... I'm guessing that is for Scourge. Is that... Because I don't know all of the classifications for this for the game, for the forces that aren't mine. And let me look. Yay, free army builders. So I'm just answering a question. Euroblob's looking into the game while we're here. Argonaut. Is that one? No. Oh no. Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah. So that's a new thing. So that's one of the other things that they do. I'm with you now. So the Argonaut is a floating space alien, and you can have it in your force, and they can blow stuff up, which is kind of fun. There is a I forget what it's called, My Mini Factory subscription that you can do, and then they give every month they give 2 STLs to the people that subscribe to that. So we've recently had moons, so we can have moons on the table, which is actually really useful and really cool. The cities as well, they gave the STLs for those, so you can just print your own rather than buying them, all that kind of stuff. I'm doing the dangerous thing of looking at a new game. You're a blobber, you're looking at Drop Fleet for the first time. It is a very dangerous thing, because it's a very, very cool system. So, yeah, it's good. Yeah. You should treat yourself, buddy. Rude not to. It's a reasonably priced system and really easy to get people into. As soon as you get a mat set up on the table and you start putting spaceships and flying around and going pew, 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 everyone's on board really quickly. That is my experience. I think we're up to, active players, I think we're up to about 7 or 8 in our local community. And people who are going to join, even though they're currently having a little bit of a resisting moment, probably takes us to about 13. And the game's been in the community for about 2 months now. So I'd say getting to 13 players in 2 months is not bad. Got to finish this project so I can keep working on spaceships. Yes, you do, Blissful Badger. Yes, you do. King's over which My Mini company? I missed that, but looking for STLs. I think it's My Mini Factory. My Mini. Yes, it is. 1 second. Let me just get the link. There you go, King Sofa TV. I've just put that into chat. What would every factions in a nutshell in 1 sentence be? Oh my good God. So UCM are middle of the road, do everything reasonably, very, very sort of standard type force, a couple of bells and whistles, but pretty straightforward, to be honest with you, as a force to play. Probably one of the most forgiving. Scourge is up close and personal. It's sneaky, 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 unleash hell. That's what they have to do. If they get engaged at a long range, they start having problems. Bioficers are, in my opinion, glass cannons, although there is some discussion about that. They absolutely wreck face if they get the opportunity to. If they get focused, they start sort of falling apart very, very quickly. PHR are the good guys, which is important to know that. So this is a PHR heavy cruiser. So PHR are the slow, armoured, but absolutely devastating weaponry faction, basically. If I get you under my guns, you won't be there for long because they'll just be bits floating through space, basically. We'll take you out. So that's them. Who else do we have to do? And then Resistance is Mad Max in space. They have some quite durable touches, but they don't necessarily have the advanced tips and tricks. And then we have the Sheltari, who are very much the tip and trick sort of faction. They are the exception, weird rule type faction that do all kinds of odd things that nobody else can, and everybody else wishes that they could. That is a very, very crude introduction to the 6 main factions. Very crude indeed. You are most welcome, King Sofa. We are the Borg. Resistance is futile. You will be assimilated. Yes, a little bit. You're welcome, Love. You're welcome, my friend. It's good to see you. It's been a while. Good guys. Ran away to come back stronger later on. That's the thing. The PHR did that. Well, we don't sort of hang around to get your absolute butt kicked. You sort of regroup, get yourself into a position where you can sort of win the day, and then you come back and win the day. That's what the PHR did. Everyone else was just a bit dumb for staying and, you know, getting their butts handed to them, in my opinion, but apparently that's biased. I don't know. I think it's just anti-post-human propaganda to believe otherwise, to be honest with you. But that's just me. That's just one man's opinion. Your mileage may vary. Onto the top there, thank you. Are all factions plastified? Yes, they are. But as I say, just the big dreadnoughts have resin. Those are the only ones that have resin. Yeah, work's being... Oh dear, work's been a pain. That's a disappointing. I had guessed the Shortari was like the ranged faction. They are. They are to an extent, but they have lots of sneaky stuff and lots of sort of exclusive kind of, okay, that's a Shortari type trick, like jump gates and stuff. So they are the Tohar of the drop fleet world, I guess, from a certain perspective. You can play all plastic, but not everything is. Yep, that's exactly right. Is there ramming speed? No, you can't ram stuff. Well, you can actually take over enemy ships with certain factions. That is a thing that you can do. You can board and take them over. But that's unsportsmanlike and freaking rude. So we don't condone that type of action, i.e. PHR can't do it, therefore it's clearly broken. And anyone doing that at my table will receive a ban. I don't care if it's in the rulebook or not. It's clearly wrong. Clearly an oversight by TT Combat. Scourge Dreadnought looks like a space kraken, and I'm here for that. Very much so. Very much so. I love the Scourge. I run a... yeah. Everything at the moment is UCM, because UCM are middle of the road, versus Biofighters, because they're the new shiny. But I really, really, really want Scourge. I do. I know I do. And I know that at some point I'm going to have to, but I'm resistant at the moment. Because my PHR fleet is obscene. It's not even a joke. It's yeah. I started writing a list of all of the PHR that I have, and this is a game that plays at sort of 1,500 points. Is kind of at the moment the sort of top points that you play it at. It can scale higher, but that's really the sensible point you play it at. When my PHR got to 4,500 points, I just stopped because it was getting a bit worrying. It's like, right, do I need to have an intervention here? Do I need to sort of stop myself from going for, well, we're going to stop that thought straight away. That's a possible outcome of this. We're going to stop totting up points. So, how's that looking? Is that looking good? It's looking all right, isn't it? It's time consuming, but I think it's worth it. I like how it looks when it's done. That's the important thing. This is pretty damn pretty. Stop it. It's tiger sharks. Don't get involved with Evie. She says that too, and she's a bad influence. Not listening to her anymore. I thought she was nice. But no, zebras. Hey, no questioning how evil biofighters are, since they can do that. Right, yeah, okay, biofighters. Can they ram? I didn't realise they could. Oh, tiger shark. That makes a lot more sense. See? No, I never listened to you, Evie. My instincts were good. Yes, tiger shark. I wanted something, yeah, camo-y, but not, and that was a little bit malevolent, a little bit, you know, a little bit evil, a little bit soulless, which, you know, I could accept the possibility that post-humans could be accused of being that. I could absolutely accept that. It's one of the options. But, yeah, I didn't want it to be too... I want it to be a little bit organic as well. So I think that's interesting. So I opted for based on a tiger shark, effectively. It seems to be working okay. Hence it's going on really nicely tonight. Hence the reason that actually this stream was supposed to finish half an hour ago and I'm still here. So, you know, there's that to be said for things. But if the paint's going on nicely and it's working, then, you know, got to keep going, haven't you? Let's see how far you can get. I'm definitely running out of juice. No, the corruptor. Okay, noted. It's called being in the zone. Yes, it is. £100 for a battlefield box. I was going to guess Brit. Behave. It's not that expensive. No, it's not. And that's... so you can get it for under €100 if you shop around. You know where to look. But if you call it €100 for a battle fleet box, that is 1,500 points. Pretty much every faction. So that being the level that sort of tournaments and such are played at is not a bad price by any stretch of the imagination. Kind of happy with it. Although it does lead to, because it doesn't cost much, you buy more of it and then you end up spending more than you would have done if it was an expensive system, and you just end up with a lot of stuff, which is kind of the situation yours truly is in at the moment. But hey, you know what? I'm happy, and that's important, because that's what life's all about, being happy. And so I am. I really want to kind of push on and do the green and get that camoed up and stuff tonight, but I'm not going to. I'm going to finish this bit of grey out. And call it a night. Because that's quite enough, I think. What do you think? How many points are the starting set factions? They are about 400 to 500. It varies. They're fairly well balanced. I would say possibly the PHR starter ones are a little bit more pokey than the other ones, especially if you get something like if you do their recommended builds, because they have recommended builds on the website of just build these ships first, effectively, and they're all good advice. Let's be clear on that one. They are all solid advice, and I would definitely follow them. But if you build the recommended PHR fleet, you end up with, I can't remember, 540 odd points, I think. And then if you build some of the other ones, you end up with 440. So it's like, that's a little bit, a smidge of a difference there. So it's a slight fraction. I mean, I'm sure no one would notice, but yeah, just be aware of that one. But remind me, and I'll ping the essentially on the Drop Fleet site. There's a resources page, and within the bounds of that, you can find recommended builds, essentially, for like a core ships box. So lots of specialists with no uniform style. You said the resistance was kind of Mad Max, right? So lots of specialists with no uniform style. It's kind of, so with resistance, and I'm not that sort of up to speed with resistance, I'll be honest. But from what I understand of them, it's kind of a few, you have like buffing ships that give you lots of capability. And then you have lots of other squishier stuff that you build around it. But the great thing with it is like, this is a Medea, okay? This is a frigate. This comes with bombardment guns on the bottom here, and then ways to drop troops in here. That's what it comes with. With resistance, you will buy a chassis, and then onto that, you will add the things that you want to put there. So you can put guns, you can put the ability to drop stuff in, you can put shields and all kinds of other widgets and bits and pieces, and it lets you build this sort of customized option within this sort of set boundary, and those upgrades will then cost you extra points effectively. So it makes it a lot more interesting, because you don't just buy this loadout, you buy this ship, and then what do you want to stick on it? This. Okay, cool. Which is a very interesting way of doing stuff. So lots of love to them for that. Got to get my zebra stripes right, don't I? But the starter box, you can get a 2-player starter box for like, well, 80 euros, I want to say. It's not really that expensive, and it comes with a lot of the stuff you need, like the tokens and stuff. So there's a review of it on my YouTube channel, and I'd recommend you check that one out. He says slightly biasedly. Yo, he's going a bit wrong. Yeah, we might have peaked. It might be time to back up and stop for the evening. Let's just try a couple of little bits down here and see how these run out. This bit here is very forgiving, so it's quite dark, so we can live with a couple of. Yeah, I think we're done. I think we have peaked. Yeah. It's 80 points, yeah. I already have the preview preloaded. Cool. It's not a perfect starter set, but it's a very good starter set. I'll say that. I'll definitely say that for it. So, chaps and chapettes, what do we think? I think it's looking suitably badass. I think it's looking suitably intimidating. Loving it. Looking good. You like it? Those starter sets are dangerous. Yes, they are, because they are good value and they come with a... But I almost say they're useful. They're worth taking, so... Looks nice. Thank you very much, Burable. I appreciate that. Is this the main game, or is Drop Zone Commander the first game? So Drop Zone Commander was the first game, but I would say they're all equal, which is the problem. All 4 of them, because we have Drop Fleet, Drop Zone, Strike Team, and then Strike Zone. commander, and they're different. So like I think strike zone is 28mm, like mass combat, I think. Don't quote me on that one. So it's your bigger forces. Effectively, we put them on the ground with this, or with one of these, and then you have drop zone where you deal with that landing and all that kind of stuff in a broader scale across a whole city with tanks and all this kind of stuff. And then I think it is strike zone commander, don't quote me on that one, which is then kind of like 20, 30, maybe more troopers doing a specific combat within the drop zone. And then you have strike team, which is squad based skirmish level. That's as I understand it. And I have heard of people literally doing the whole, right, we start with the fleet, we've landed, let's do the zone. So you can go that way through. But it's it's how you want to play. Drop zone is very much a beer and pretzels game, and I love it. I love it greatly. I actually have. Hang on, let's do, because this is coming to the channel soon. Because Drop Zone is about to go to version 3 in the very imminent future. So we have our PHR starter set loaded here. So I've got to build this all up. These are 10mm scale. I actually have beer and pretzels in hand. Yes, I do. Frequently. So there's the channel is going to be going drop zoning as well. We're going to be doing that too. So you can expect that coming up. There's a lot of stuff that's coming up. We're going to continue to have like Infinity stuff coming. There's some really cool stuff coming for Eldfall. We've got a lot of stuff to do for Drop Fleet. So like I want to do the faction videos for these based on the tonnage of the ship. So we'll do the lights, the mediums, the heavy, and the Colossus, and then as separate videos because there's 60 of the damn things. I'm not doing one video. And then we'll talk about list writing for the individual factions based on those, which is going to be funky. And of course, how to play. We've got how to play guides coming for these after we've finished off Eldfall. And then we're going to do the drop zone, although drop zone might happen before drop fleet for various reasons. And yeah, then we have a new thing coming for Eldfall. There's so much stuff. There really is. It's quite insane. You're very lucky people. I don't know, you know. Multifaceted to the extremes. Yeah, indeed. The thing is, I originally played Drop Zone. I used to run tournaments for this system, and PHR was my first love because little two-legged walkers. I'm a sucker for a walker. And then when I started looking into this, these have large scorpions, tanks, so that they are chunky. They are big things, and I love it. It's great. There's an echo. Is there an echo? Oh, I spoil you, Papa Hydra. I know. You do. It lets me go off and do the crazy stuff that I want to do, and then you guys get to look at it and go, ooh. And I'm like, see, it's valid because people like it, so I'm doing this for entertainment purposes. This has nothing to do with my own personal interest. I have totally. An echo. The little guy might be. I can never remember which ones the little guys are. That might be an echo. It might be. Let me look. Yeah, Echo Corvette. Good eyes. I have 4 of these around the place. I'm not sure how much love these are going to get. The Orania, definitely. We're going to definitely have some of those on the tabletop, but I'm not sure. Echo Corvette's kind of fitting around the edges, but you've got the Harpocrates, which I prefer over this, and it's cheaper. But then, there's, yeah. But the most thing you need to look at is that's 6 Medea, and that's funny. That is pure comedy. Legitimate tactic. Just swamp the enemy with Medeas. But cam out of focus. Oh my goodness. That stands about right. There we go. Hang on. Focus on the table. There we go. Yeah, so we got a lot to do. We've got a lot to do. And the reason for the UCM being painted up, and I was supposed to finish these. I was supposed to finish my my biophyces before I went onto my PHR, but then I just got a bit excited. I got a bit excited. So we had to do some PHR because I wanted to test out the paint scheme, and now I have. So I should really go back to my Biofighters, because then I'm going to do the intro games, the demo games, how to play Drop Fleet with those two factions, which is cool. If Lancer ever gets a model game, I am hard pivoting immediately. Fair play. It's a decent start of Medea. This is not all of them, Blissful Badger. This is not all of them. This is just the first three groups that I wanted to paint up. So Medeas are kind of good. They've got some really useful features in them that you don't need to know about right now if you don't play the game. But yeah, anywho, so there we go. That's enough Drop Fleet love for this evening. I'm going to take this bad boy, or bad girl, and she's going to go on the shelf. Oh, look, I can active track now. You going this way? You're not active tracking. Why are you not active tracking? Oh, you are. That's why, because you're down at the bottom already. So I'm going to take this little munchkin, and she's going to go to bed, because it's time to get some rest. And I'll finish her off probably next week. See, this little bit here didn't quite go right. I'm not very happy with that. Not happy with that at all. Doesn't look quite right. So we'll probably finish her off in the next stream, because that needs to happen. But yeah, this week we've got a lot of exciting stuff coming up, but I'll let you find out all about that as it comes up. See, now this wet palette is starting to dry off in the heat. That's annoying. I just want to block these in so it doesn't look so terrible when I look at the miniature tomorrow. But yeah, we've got some exciting stuff coming up this week, so look forward to that. I think 2 videos this week. Like I said, I'm away next week, start of next week, so there will be no live stream next week. I am so sorry. I will miss you all furiously. We're going to make available on the merch store a downloadable life-size version of me that you can print off in several sheets of A4, cut out and stick on your TV screen so that you can at least see me, because I know you're all going to miss me that furiously. I totally understand. I get it. I can't blame you. I can't blame you. A week without me is a week without sunshine. But aside from that, there will be more videos that start next week, and I think bolt action, starter sets, some other stuff. You'll love it. It'll be brilliant. But for now, thank you all so much. Can I use the cutouts as terrain? No. Rest well. Thank you, love. Fully enough, PHO and Biofighters are the 2 I started painting so far. The other 4 factions are a bit on waiting. It's a problem. Night Ice Bear, thank you for hanging out. We'll do a demo. Thanks for the stream. You're welcome, AV. A good background noise. I'm glad to hear that my hard work is background noise to you. That's all I am to you. But thank you all so much for hanging out. It's been great. I've enjoyed your company as ever. It's been a veritable pleasure. I will see you all soon. Like, share, subscribe if you haven't done already. And yeah, ta-ra.